Hey, everybody. Here we are. Another stream, another day, another little bit of me talking Dragon Guard and having you guys along. Want to say what's up to Mark Anthony. Hey. Um, right now, we got a few people watching but not chatting or anything. So, what I'm going to be doing is for right now, I'm just going to be inking, working on a page of Dragon Guard, and I'll be chatting with you guys and just talking. And if you guys have any questions, you want to shoot at me, let me know. For everybody that's out there, and watching, my name is Kevin Sharp. I'm a long-time Marvel artist, DC artist, on a lot of books, a lot of them with fill-ins, things like that. Been doing this for about 25 years. Basically, if you hear me, my throat gets dry, I'll just grab some water. But we're going to get going because I've got a book I want to share with you. It's called Dragon Guard, and I'll be doing the art for it as well as the writing. And it's a fantasy book. If you guys enjoy a lot of the old 80s cartoons and a lot of fantasy books, I wouldn't say it's like high fantasy like Lord of the Rings or anything like that, but I was inspired by a lot of the 80s cartoons, things like that. And if you're a fan of like He-Man, Masters of the Universe, Thundercats, Visionaries, a whole bunch of other 80s cartoons and things like Conan, that's where this book is, where my mindset is. Basically, after working on Marvel and DC, there were a lot of books that I would have loved to draw on, but I just wasn't really getting a chance to really show my stuff and work on some of those books. So one of the things I always really wanted to draw was a lot of these fantasy books and stuff. And I actually worked on a fantasy book with a buddy of mine who was self-publishing back in 1996, 97. It was a book called Black and White Anthology, and it featured talents like Brandon Peterson, Mike Wieringo, trying to think of some of the other people, Tim Townsend, Don Hillsman, just a whole bunch of people. And if I'm forgetting them, I apologize ahead of time. But anyway, it was a black and white fantasy anthology, and it was really fun. Let's see. And Mark Anthony says, subscribe too if you like this content. Absolutely. If you see that button down there, subscribe, like, and share. Definitely could use it. And for everybody out there, the basic thing was I really wanted to draw a really good fantasy book. I think, I had seen a lot of things, and I'd seen a lot of reboots and a lot of restarts and stuff for the Masters of the Universe. And I was wondering, like, where the heck are the Thundercats? And then Wildstorm got Thundercats, and they took it in a direction I didn't really, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of. I mean, I tried to stick with it, but it wasn't, I don't think, writing-wise, they got it. They really got it, and so I still wasn't really satisfied with some of the stuff that was out there. There's some other great ones. I did a couple of pieces for the MV Creations He-Man book that was out there around 2001, 2002, and that was right around the time of the reboot cartoon. So basically, in all that time, I thought maybe if you can get somebody really exciting or get an exciting product out there, that those things could do well. And I guess what people, it just didn't get it, or didn't want to get it, or but you definitely wanted to, in my opinion, you definitely wanted to make the artwork really badass and um, really excite people. And I miss that about some things. I used to be really excited as a kid going to the store and picking up any kind of comics, like whenever John Byrne or George Perez or Jim Lee or Dale Keown, Paul Smith, Arthur Adams. There's so many cool guys, and you don't have that. I don't feel like you have a lot of that these days. And I'm not saying I'm the guy to do it, but I'm saying that I want to, that kind of feeling. I want you to get that about, these fun fantasy kind of books. And that's where my head is with Dragon Guard. It starts off as it's a fantasy story about basically this ancient evil. There's uh, I don't want to tell you too much about it. I don't want to give it away, but as the story stands, there's this ancient evil that somehow, he goes away, disappears, and when he returns, or news of his impending return comes about, um, a group, an order of warriors called the Dragon Guard, are sworn to find this person who is destined to wield a specific sword, and the sword has a certain quality to the sword that not only is it very powerful, but there's something very unique and very special about the sword, and you'll find that in the story. Um, and there's the sword bearer, and the Dragon Guard are sworn to protect him, and so they have to find him and kind of teach him the ways of using the sword. And it's basically this kid you'll get to know who's the son of a blacksmith, and and our story just takes off from there. And there's going to be a whole lot of fun. I've shown some of the preview pages online. I've got a couple more pages I need colored before the launch. One of them's being colored right now, and you'll be able to see. I think I guess going back, I want to stress one of those things is really what I look for in a lot of these campaigns. I know for me is, and I'm not here to slag anybody, but when you're spending out lots of money, um, um, thank you, Mark Anthony. That's awesome, man. Uh, One of the things you're spending this money on a comic book, and nowadays with Indiegogo, a lot of things you're looking at roughly, a lot of the starting prices for the books are for the campaigns are 15 or $25. And if I ask you to pay that much, I want it to be professional quality. I want it to be something that you're guaranteed, like with somebody like with me or Mike Miller. There's lots of guys out there. I think Rob Willis is. I think his stuff is really great. Kanan White. I think his stuff is amazing. And so these guys are professional level, really professional level quality that they bring to the books, and they're people that do amazing stuff. And I think that's, if you're going to charge that much money for a book, you should bring that kind of quality, and that's what I hope to bring here. I think that I wouldn't ask you to buy something if it was subpar, and I'll tell you right now, this is my first real shot at writing, and writing, isn't my forte, but I have a good, strong, solid plot. I have a strong idea of what I wanted to do with it. And I guarantee you, even if there's something in the writing you don't like, I guarantee you're going to love the artwork. And my buddy Alonzo Espinoza, he's doing the colors, and he's doing a fabulous job on it. He's gonna really, if you've seen anything of the colors, they're bright, they pop, and that's partially on purpose, you know, or at least for what I'm looking for. It's what I want. I want to try to get back to the days where we could get um, kids interested in it. And, you know, I know kids aren't going to be going on Indiegogo, but what I do know is that parents who might like this, I want them to show this to their kids. I want them to look at it. I want them to see the bright colors and the intensity, and I want them to enjoy it the way I did. An interesting parallel is this whole mess with Thundercats Roar. It's an interesting parallel because with Thundercats Roar, you had all these people, and if you've seen anything on it, if you give yourself a chance to look it up on YouTube or anywhere and take a look at the art, and you will be blown away with how, aesthetically speaking, it just doesn't look very good, or at least it doesn't look back. When you think of the property of the Thundercats, and then you look at what the pedigree of that show in the 80s, of how good that stuff looked, and then look at what they did with it now. Um, you know, one of the arguments, there was a lot of backlash against it. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. The backlash against it was heavy, and so in response, you had what is often the knee-jerk reaction of people who try to defend how awful some of these things are. Is they'll say, "Oh, it wasn't made for you. It wasn't made for you. This isn't like the old Thundercats. You want that, you can go look at that." Well, that's the thing. If your stuff is getting destroyed by stuff that was made in the 80s and you can't do any better, then that tells you everything you need to know about how crappy your stuff is. And the point is that we, you know, as far as pertains to the books and kids, I don't want to dumb down the fun. I don't want to dumb down the art style. I don't want to something for kids and assume that they can't enjoy what we enjoyed when we were younger. And I think that is what we should be selling kids for, you know, as far as comics go. And I think we can do great art and not have to pander down and, oh, we can't do this because of so and so, and it takes too much time, or we can't do this because of so and so, and that's just not the style. And I don't agree with that. I don't see it. I don't think our kids are idiots. I want them to enjoy great looking stuff. I think it helps with their imagination. Um, if everything's being fed to you through video games and things like that, first of all, it's that's what we have to compete with every day when we're doing these books. We have to compete with video games, and they hold your kids' attention because they're sights, and not just sights, but they're also sounds, and it's more immersive. So we have to get them interested, and so that's why I think with Alonzo's colors, that's where I wanted to go. I wanted it to be bright and flashy, and then if the parents can stick with me through that, you know, because some parents, you know, maybe wanted a, you know, some people may want a painterly style or something a little bit more muted, and that's just not where my head is with this. I want it to be fun and bold. Um, and I know it goes against a lot of the coloring styles and trends today, um, and I understand. I know I'm going into that with that, but I have a purpose for it. You know that I'm intentionally doing it, and Mark Anthony says that art style works for a few shows, but I'm curious what they were thinking with Thundercats. Probably weren't thinking at all. Yeah, I would, dude. I totally agree. And Mark Anthony, that or trying to cash in on an IP for quick, but yeah, exactly. That's what a lot of it seemed to me. It basically smacked of somebody saying, "Hey, I'm going to use this as a springboard for whatever my goofy animated show is going to be." And hey, if I have an established IP, I already have established base, you know. And hey, man, it just looked bad, and they took it off the slate. You didn't hear anything about it for the longest time because it got such a bad backlash. And then when they put it up, it still got a backlash. I don't think the diehard fans wanted that. I don't think. I can guarantee you that the diehard fans really didn't want that. As with any base, I can tell you, I know that's true of the He-Man base. You see any of these people that dig the new He-Man's Classics line, and then later, what's getting ready to come out, He-Man Origins. People that go to He-Man cons. There's a lot of people willing to overlook stuff because, hey, it's the newest He-Man thing or the newest Masters of the Universe thing. So I'm going to support it even if it looks like subpar kind of stuff. And there are people that are out there. But then there's others that are just like, hey, dude, this is trash. And, I know art's subjective, and I know I shouldn't necessarily do a blanket, condemnation of it, but I can tell you, just judging from the reactions, a lot of people think like I do. See Shira, yeah, exactly. Everybody watching, feel free to come into the chat. Anybody there? I know some of my mods are out. I do understand that it is Saturday. It's 9:30-ish, or right at 9:30 on a Saturday. So I thank you for coming along, because I know you could be doing a lot of other things like seeing a movie or this and that. And if you're on the West Coast, yeah, it's about 6:30. So you could be having dinner with the family, and you're here listening to me ramble and do a few the patrol. And thank you. I really, really, really appreciate it. I was a little under the weather before I came on, so my energy level is not as high as it could be. But I'm here to talk DragonGuard, and any questions you want. Jalapeno Milk, hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing? Glad to see you here. Absolutely. Any of you guys watching, lurking, you're welcome to come in on the chat. If you hear me take a drink, my mouth gets really dry. I think it's a side effect of the medicine. So as we're talking, I'll be taking quite a few sips of water and some coffee as well. But any questions, feel free to chime in. If there's any art questions, I will talk tutorials and things like that all day if you let me. So, but anyway, we were talking about this, and what I'm trying to achieve with DragonGuard is I'm trying to get you guys in here, give you something fun. I've really wanted to do something where to really show off some of my ability, where maybe you don't see it as much you don't see it as much with some of the other books where there's a hardcore deadline and things like that. That's reality of the situation. Some contracted guys get a certain amount of time. Some of us are filling guys, and then we have to rush and go. Sometimes you're given 3 weeks, less than 3 weeks to draw a book, and then you just got to roll with it. 22 pages, bam, 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 bam. I can tell you, I've never been one to draw. Rough average is a page a day for a decent schedule, but I've never been one that can draw like 3 pages in a day, unless really had to do it, and if there were conversation scenes, because I can tell you, if there were action scenes and stuff, it would look like trash, and I don't want to give you guys trash. So, but with DragonGuard, I want to give you a quality book. Going back to what I was saying, there are some creators who I deem that I've seen charging $25 for a book that they just aren't on the level. They shouldn't be. They shouldn't even be drawing well, I won't say that you can. If you're funded, you can draw a comic. That doesn't mean that you're on the level where it's a professional looking job and that you've got a comprehensive amount of drawing skills to understand to deliver a professional book. And I see too many of these people out there charging a lot of money for books that don't look good. And that's the one thing I wanted to emphasize is quality, you know. Um, Mark Anthony, this is already looking very high quality. Thank you, brother. Um, Jalapeno milk, you're going to be going for a while. I'm at home for another hour and another hour and a half, most likely. Yeah, I'm going to be going for a little while. If that helps, you're welcome to be here, Captain Hiltz. What's up? Hey, Captain Hiltz. Glad to see you in, buddy. I have gotten anyway, but just want to shout out anybody in the chat or anybody lurking. I just got a shipment of Mylars in, and I'll be ready to mail some more stuff out. Was waiting on. Basically, I've never had to buy as many Mylars as I've had since I've been part of this community, and it's hard keeping up. I'm going to have to start buying larger bulks. One of the problems I had, just a side note, I'll tell you stories, I guess. Just a side note, I had a falling out with one of my suppliers because they were using, and again, I'm going to be nice and not say who they are, but they were using some of my artwork for their products, and they never contacted, never told me about it, never informed me about it, never got paid anything for it. And I had a dispute with them. And what sucked was they were one of the few people that gives you a good price on Mylar, shipping Mylar, and like your top loaders. And so by having a falling out with them, it kind of screwed myself. And you know, I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna buy product from people who don't, you know, at least don't want to acknowledge that they're using my stuff without ever actually contacting me or talking to me about it. So anyway, rejoice! It's Saturday, one of the best days of the week. Yes, sir. I would have loved to actually started the stream or done a stream earlier today. I was planning to do it around 4, but I was out with the family and we just got just a little too behind, and I wasn't going to make it back home. Just a little, I guess, a little side. I live in kind of a small town, and it's nestled back in the mountains, kind of towards the border of West Virginia. And if you know anything about that locale, or if you've been familiar or heard anything about it, it's not all Deliverance, but I will tell you one dang thing: it is definitely away from a lot of society. And so the nearest town that I can get to is about a 40-minute drive to Christiansburg and Blacksburg, where Virginia Tech is. And so, when we go out and do things, it's a trip. It's a long trip to make it out there and make it back and do this. So for me, I'm a little secluded away from things. It's good and bad. I'm a very quiet person generally. That's why doing a lot of the streams like you see here, I'm usually really nervous because I'm just a very quiet person by nature. I like things being quiet. I don't like a lot of. It's probably why I've got high blood pressure, but I don't like a lot of the rat race and having to be in a lot of traffic and have to move at a faster pace than I'm used to. That's just me. I try to get. I try my best to adapt to those situations, but I'm not very good at it. Being at shows is about as doing a con or something is usually as outgoing as I get. I actually have a show in Indianapolis on April 10th through the 12th. So if you know anything about that con, go get tickets. I'll show up. More than likely, I'll show up. Hopefully, it'll go on with all the coronavirus stuff. I'm hoping there won't be a big panic. I know in that general area, some of the first United States cases, they were in Chicago, I think, that they detected. So that's going to make it interesting because it's really close to Illinois. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But the plan is to do that show. I don't really get a chance to go out even remotely Midwest or even, whatever that qualifies for. I don't get to go out there often. So I hope to see everybody if you're living out in that way. I hope to see everybody. The Dragon Guard campaign will be in full swing, middle swing by then. So I want to be able to show you guys stuff. Scruff McGruff, Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, Mark Anthony. Have you been out, Captain Hills? Have you ever been out to DenverCon? I haven't, man. I've never been past the furthest out west I've ever been in my life has been Chicago, I think. Mostly everything is the mid-Atlantic states and up to New York sometimes on the very few occasions. Although the last New York show I did was back in 2013, and I swore I'd never go back to any of those shows. Oh, yeah, by the way, my camera being potatoed, I'm going to jump in and just show you some of the inks, how I'm doing it. I'll let you guys see it. There you go. There's a main female character. I'm trying to narrow down a name for her because it is the Laura, but I saw a name or basically had a name, one of those funky name generators, and I was playing around and I found a name that I really like. So I may call her Evita or I may call her Zalara. You heard it first here, being goofy. I'm very very picky about how I name things. I look for inspiration in a lot of places. I've said this on one of the other streams with Mike, but I like a lot of things have to ring to me. Like I play guitar, and when you're playing guitar, you'll see in a lot of articles is this player plays with feel, or they bend notes with feel. And it basically is trying to explain that you feel it from the heart. It's the right note at the right time, that kind of thing, and it's the right thing that comes to you that feels right. And that's how I am with everything that I do. And I don't know, I just can't not approach things that way. So if that explains some of my kind of weirdness. Or you can just say, hey, you're an artist and you're always weird anyway. So that too. But anyway, so you're seeing some of the panels being inked as for the book as we go. I figured I'd get you guys in on the process because sometime next weekend, I got to nail down the day. But it will be next weekend. We're going to stop talking about it and we're going to do it. We're going to start putting stuff up. We're going to launch the Indiegogo page. So nothing to do but to do it. And that's where we are. And so that's why we're here tonight. We're talking about DragonGuard, its inspirations. It really came to fruition when we'll back it back to last year if you want to talk about it. Last year, I happened to be lurking around the streams, and I'll try to make long story short. But basically, I'd had a little dissatisfaction with the way certain people, certain editors, I won't get into it because I don't really want to just, make it a bitch fest or anything like that. But certain editors I had seen from 2018, I did not like where certain editors where I worked and certain people were trashing creators that maybe have been conservative leaning or had a different point of view, or they're being trashed or who they voted for, things like that. And they were doing it some of these editors were doing very, very publicly, and also said, basically let you know that, hey, if you voted this way, thought this way, whatever you wanted to think, hey, you're blacklisted, or we don't mind telling you that you might be blacklisted, or you might You'll never get any work while I'm here, or this kind of thing. And it really concerned me, because I'd like to not think that our group, our industry would not think this way. You know, man. You shouldn't have to fear for your job because somebody thinks, not even so much that you even go out and say it, but if they get the slightest inkling that you're conservative, somehow that's a scarlet letter, and you get to you know, get blacklisted and things like that. So that concerned me, and I started seeing a lot of the ComicsGate stuff, and I saw certain people, watch people's streams, and I'd duck into the chat and say hi or this and that, and then a few people noticed me, like Antonio Bryce. Antonio chatted with me, Nasser, a couple other people, and then basically they would ask me in chat, "Hey man, do you have a book you're doing, or anything you wanted to promote, or do you want to join in?" And I was kind of like, "Hey, I might. I have some other concerns. They're personal concerns, but I might do a book if you got a good idea, or if you want to talk to me." And I told him, I was like, I really want to do something fantasy. Nasser had reached out to me, and Nasser had a couple ideas that were really good. He sent me a script, and it looked really good. I mean, and he even told me, it's like, "Hey, I'm a horror guy. I'm not really a big fan of the kind of stuff you do, or the kind of stuff you're interested in, the fantasy genre." But he still sent me a really cool script, and I was kind of excited. A little later, Nasser had to back out. Understandable, it's fine. He had his reasons at the time for doing it. And I was just kind of okay, cool. Then later, checked out one of Mike's streams, and they happened to notice me in the chat and said, "Hey, why don't you come on the drawing streams?" And then I did a draw along, and after a while, just kind of rolled into, "Hey, Mike, hey, you got a book you're working on, or do you have any ideas?" And so that's where DragonGuard came from. It's not an old idea, but it is me finally saying, "Hey, I want to stretch my wings and do what I want to do." And I'll tell you, that's basically where DragonGuard came from, and what cemented it. DragonGuard for me was, I had a conversation. Yeah, Mark Anthony, here comes the thought police. And I'll tell you guys what ultimately did it was, I was told by somebody who was close to all those guys with a certain property, Masters of the Universe, that I was asked in chat. I'm trying to do this so I don't dox anybody or do anything like that. But I was asked in a private email chat thing to do some stuff, and I said something innocuous, very, "Hey, if you're working for Marvel and DC," which this person has done, they would know that any question I asked about a deadline or a time frame is normal, run of the mill, simple, very simple questions you ask any editor before you take a job. It's just a normal thing. This person flipped on a dime, told me, basically implied that he couldn't work with me. And when you think about that, they go through the trouble to contact you. And then flip on a dime, and basically implied they won't be working with you, and you'll never work with Masters of the Universe. Well, that did it. That cemented it for me. I was like, I'm trying not to curse because I tend to get a little bit passionate about the stuff, but it's basically, dude, you watch your ass, because I'm going to do a good book, and I'm going to do a good book that you will not believe. And then I want you to report back to your bosses and tell them why you screwed up the deal. And I guarantee you, this book's going to look better than what they ever imagined. And so that's where I am. I was with DragonGuard was important thing for me. I want to show people what I'm able to do, and this is for you guys. This is for you guys who wanted quality work. They go through your Kickstarters and well, maybe not Kickstarter, but if you go to your Indiegogos, whatever platform you support, and you go there and you want quality looking stuff. That's the important thing. Quality looking stuff that'll blow your mind. This book is for you. If you wanted to say, were you ever sitting back there and going, He-Man's cool, but what happened? Or Thundercats is cool, or Sectars or Gargoyles is cool. What happened if we had modern talent? What if those properties were in the heyday of Image, and what would the excitement be around a Dale Keown Thundercats or a Jim Lee He-Man? That thought, the most exciting, most passionate creators doing these things and elevating to them. Because for me, when I was a kid, Marvel and DC was big, but so was He-Man and Thundercats. Those were kind of my four. Those were my four biggest fun things that I looked at. At least that back then was, hey, this set me off and set me on my way to being an artist, and it excited me, And I think if you had the right direction, those things could be just as big as any of the properties that DC has. But you just, for whatever reasons, the stars didn't align, and you didn't have the right runners running the show to elevate those things to where they could be. It always helps to have a good editorial staff backing you. It helps having these people that want to make it as quality as possible, and not just to throw away, hey, I got saddled with this goofy 80s property that I don't really care about what I'm going to do because I'm getting paid and they're throwing good money at it, There's a lot of behind the scenes wheels that are constantly turning, and you don't always see that. And one of the hardest things I had to learn, as it pertains to like with my deadlines, and also can easily pertain to a lot of these people that are doing things behind the scenes, messing with books and over editing them, if that's a term, is that nobody sees all the BS behind the scenes. Fans only see what hits the page, and if it's not good, that's all they see, I mean, you could be up against a crazy 2-week deadline, and by nature of the time frame, because you have a family, because you have maybe you hurt yourself, you got the flu, you're still got the deadline and you've got the flu and stuff's coming down and the book's got to be done. They don't see everything that you've got to go through to make a deadline, or corners you might have to cut that day, or the background you didn't draw. All they see is what finally hit the page, And so that's hard. It's hard when you're better than what you maybe one week you had to draw a not so great page. You're better than that, but that's just the way the deadlines are. You can't obsess about it. So anyway, I know I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent, but I'm talking about basically the quality of the book, and that's what I want for you guys. Captain Hiltz, like and share, everybody. If you're in here checking it out, please do. We'll get a little closer here. There's a shot of the inks. I'll try not to shake so much. There you go. But I did enough jobs of that. Getting back to what we were saying, I did enough jobs in my time. It would be nice just to sit here and actually do something that I'm really, really proud of, and that I could say, hey, I took my time on this, or I took a reasonable amount of time, and I'm going to give you something that you really will enjoy, you know? And I think you deserve that. You know, I think the fans deserve that. If we're going to ask you $25 for a book, and even, you know, it's a graphic novel, it's not just a 22-page floppy. If we're going to ask you to pay that much, or pay for that, you know, that graphic novel price, then we're going to give you something professional. And that's what I think is important. And I think you guys deserve that. And I can't stress it enough. I wish I could tell you, I want you to feel like I did when I got the first issue of Pit, and it just, every freaking page jumped off. I mean, every image jumped off the page. You know, Dale Kim was just a monster. No pun intended on that, but um, so many of those pages could have been posters. So many of those pages are so good looking, and you know, it was so exciting in those days to pick up a book and know this dude is killing it. He's crushing it on the art, you know. And I want, you know, this book is for everybody. You know, I want everybody to be able to pick up a copy of Dragon Guard and look at it and go, you know, this is awesome. I may not have liked fantasy, but or I may not have liked He-Man. Damn, this looks good. You know, that's what I'm aiming for. I'm not saying I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. I hope nobody misinterprets it as a kind of an ego thing or anything, but it's just going to be badass. That's what I want, and that's what I want for you guys. And as the campaign is going, we're going to get into that. I'm going to try to live stream at least once or twice more this week before we start. Um, and what I want for you is some of the cool extras too. And I'm going to talk to people about some metal prints, metal cards, um, regular trading cards. We'll be doing prints. There'll be a stretch goal that I think you guys, if you like my art, the stretch goal will be something that are, you know, you guys will really, really appreciate. I don't want to say what it is just yet. I'll let you find out when we get to the launch, and you're able to check it out then. But the stretch goal is going to be something fun if you dig my art, and we'll also have original art pages. Um, I'm still trying to figure out the whole sketch cover thing. Trying to find out. There's 3 printers I'm looking at right now. I'm talking to, getting quotes from, and Muttman. Hey, how you doing? Kevin, Dragon Guard is looking great. All right, Muttman, thank you for coming in, bud. I appreciate you being on the stream. I'm going to be doing a little inking tonight. Just trying to get you all warmed up because the Indiegogo campaign is launching soon, next weekend. And you guys, I want you to just, dude, when you see what Alonzo is doing and you see what we're trying to bring to you, I'd like to think that this is it's the next level for Indiegogo in terms of it's going to be one of those books that I hope will be something where you go, whoa, you know, that kind of thing. You know, I want to give people in there looking at it and hoping they can get a copy, hoping they don't miss out, and hoping that I give them really cool, really, really, really cool extras. Um, One of the things, though, you know, I've always told everybody, we were talking about a lot of things and a lot of irons in the fire and stuff. My first campaign here is crawl before you can walk. So a lot of it's going to be simple. A lot of it's going to be straightforward kind of perks and things. Um, And, you know, I won't promise the moon. You know, there's going to be no action figures. As much as I'd like that, there's no action figures being offered. I haven't talked to anybody about action figures. There's, you know, those things. If it does well, it'll come in time. But I'm not crazy enough to think that I'm going to do it. There's a lot of great ones that didn't quite make the cut yet. You know, I thought Aaron Lepresti's Garbage Man looked freaking amazing. I thought it was a good looking product, but I did not understand why he had a lot of trouble launching it or getting it done. I mean, I know that a lot of people say he set his goal too high, and you know he was looking at the cost for him, and he did what he had to do. So I just thought it was amazing. So there's a few of these amazing campaigns that I really don't understand why they don't make it, and then why something subpar. Notice I'm not naming any names. I'm not saying anybody particular, but I'm saying that there's some people who look like they haven't could never draw anything professionally, and they're doing quite well. So it's it's a hit or miss game sometimes, you know. And I don't assume anything. Um, but you know, all I can do is kick butt on the art, you know, or do my best to kick butt. Um, let's see. Mutt Man, Garbage Man should have funded for sure. Yeah, I just don't get it. Those pages were looking fantastic. Maybe it's too much, you know. Maybe it was just the funding and it was too much. But Aaron's on Justice League right now, and that maybe that will help give him some more attention. So when he launches again, or if he launches again, then it'll be funded and it'll be a hit. You know, the game of doing this YouTube thing, I can tell you, is not easy. I know it's for me anyway, somebody who's very introverted. Um, it is not easy to put yourself out there, and every time you do something, you're always second guessing yourself. And here, you know, I'll definitely rack my brains going, hey, I said a million times. Why am I doing that? You know, and you try to stop yourself, and you tend to find yourself doing it more because you focused on it, you know. You know, my fiance was like, hey, you should have a script or something like that. And I was like, yeah, I should, but I never know what I'm going to talk about until I get on there and start talking. It's much easier when I can respond to Mike or Elliot or anybody like that, you know. It's easier to have them along for the ride. Jalapeno Milk. He still funded 15K on Garbage Man. He should have created an original book and included the already printed DC stuff as a stretch goal. About oh yeah. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. That might have been getting people familiar with Garbage Man before it launched. Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, I agree with certain people that say, hey, you got to get out there and build your YouTube channel and you got to do this. I can agree with you and I understand it, but not everybody approaches it the same way or can approach it the same way. I know I can tell you right now, I have no interest in creating drama. I have no interest in, um, you know, spending 20 hours on editing a stupid video together uh, for clicks. You know, drama crap. Um, it's not where my head is. I mean, I don't want to get nasty. I don't want to let that part of myself out because I can just be as nasty as the rest of the guys, but I don't want to, don't need to. I've been there. I'm 46 years old. I got high blood pressure. I don't need to keep doing that kind of dumb shit. Excuse my language, but it's not where my head's at. My head's at entertaining you guys and showing y'all awesome artwork. My head's at being a kid again and showing people that comics are fun and giving them the fun things to look at, sharing the art, the storytelling, hanging with people that I enjoy talking to, and the fun things to look at, sharing the art, the storytelling, hanging with people that I enjoy talking to. Gary, just lots of people that are just mellow and we enjoy the art of the comics. We're here for the art of it and pour our hearts into it, not whatever it takes, whatever kind of sensationalism it takes to do the stream. I get that it's entertaining. I get that some people may come for that. They thrive on it. It's like a dopamine hit, whatever you want to say. I understand that. I understand that it works sometimes. I understand that it works for people really well, but it's not who I am. All I can tell you is you guys rock, fans rock. The people that follow me, I love you guys because I can't do any of this without you guys. I might as well turn it in and not worry about it. I have contacts at Marvel. I haven't done anything for them recently, and I've been focused on this. And I'm taking a chance every time I do something because they all immediately associate me with whatever people it may be they associate me with. And you guys know me. You guys hear me. You guys can enjoy me for what I bring to the table. And that's all I care about, Muttman, drama belongs in the comics. Hell yeah. Exactly. Flybox, bro. Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? I didn't see you come in before, so if you already been chatting, I apologize for ignoring you. Captain Hills, how's your pre-launch emails looking? Are you happy with the numbers? Oh, Lord. I'm happy that I've gotten to the numbers that I've gotten, but I'm not happy where I'm at right now. I want to be at least 500. We're not there yet. 500 is a goal. I've been trying to reach that. I've been trying to stress that. And I know I've been driving you crazy with just putting out all the tweets with the I'm probably driving you crazy. Putting out the tweets with all DragonGuard stuff every day, but I'm trying to reach people on Instagram. I'm trying to reach people on Facebook. I'm doing the videos. I know the video channel is not where it needs to be. Somebody had some great ideas. They were telling me, hey, you need to learn to edit this, and you should not do the long drawing streams. You should do videos, and you should edit it. And I'm like, man, I don't have the skill to edit it. I don't have the money to pay somebody else to edit it. I'm not, I've never been making huge money in comics. I make decent money for the work that I put into it, and I'm happy to pay my bills, but I'm definitely not at a point where I can pay somebody to edit these things and to put my stuff together. So, it's a trade-off because there's some things I could do to make it grow and look better and be better, but I simply don't have the time for it. I've got 2 kids. One's a teenager, that's a handful, and then I've got a young daughter who, in her own way, is a handful. She's very smart to the point that she's too smart for her own good, and those things take up your time. And so me sitting around trying to draw a book, take care of the kids. My fiance works in the daytime too, and then try to edit a video. Nah, oh man, it would be impossible. I wouldn't be getting anything done if I was trying it, So I'm looking at ways I can do it, but I do it the best I can. Muttman, keep the content rolling. Don't slow down. Don't worry about editing video. It's all about authenticity. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. If you're thinking about tweeting or sharing too much on Facebook, you're not. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, brother. I'm glad to have you along, Muttman, by the way. Everybody out there, you guys that are watching, I hope you guys check back in. If you're watching and not joining the chat, feel free to join the chat. Ask me any questions about the book, any art questions. I could use it. It'll give me something to talk about while I'm eating. One little thing that I'll let you guys know is, as you see right here, you'll see that some of this is undrawn, but what actually is in there is I've got a piece of the layout taped to the back. And this tape, don't worry, this tape is a lightly sticking kind of drafting painter's tape, and it doesn't stick at all, hardly. So, but anyway, the artwork is on the back. If I lean this back just a second, you see how there's all the perspective stuff. And what I do is I lightbox that through the page and then work on it. So if you got any concerns or wondering why part of the page is blank, some of it's drawn out well enough to where I can just work straight on it. And that's what I was doing earlier. So you put it on the Lightbox, it shows through, you can draw it and trace it out and stuff like that. Or conversely, if it's tight enough, I can actually sit it on the Lightbox and just start inking from it too. So that's possible too. It just depends on where I feel like doing it. And again, if you catch me a little bit exasperated, for everybody joining in, I was just having some issues earlier with my diabetes medicine, and so I'm slightly under the weather, but not anything major. But I'm trying to hype up. I'm maybe not at my highest energy levels, but we're here. We're having fun. I'm glad to have you. Glad to see you out there, even lurking. Thank you for checking it out. And I apologize for the chair squeaking. This particular chair is older, and you get those kind of like aluminum or iron chairs or whatever, and they start to squeak. The springs start to squeaking really, really bad. And just so I can get up in here and get that camera working. There you go. Okay. Let's see. Flybox Pro. Do you ink in anticipation of colors, or is your goal for it to work in both? Oh, you mean in black and white? Yeah. I could leave some things more open to interpretation of color, I guess. I've just been, it's always how I work. I render the hell out of a lot of things. And what happens is it's just the nature of how I've always drawn, but I do try to be more aware of it nowadays in the really digital age where everybody's drawing everything on computer, or you can do a lot more tricks with digital, where maybe you don't have to draw everything, every little nook and cranny of everything, or there's certain things you can pop in. I know what I really hate is seeing people drop in artifacts that are like fully drawn buildings in this program. Let's say it's Clip Studio Paint, and you could drop in the building in the background if you wanted to that was already drawn. I hate it. I hate not drawing it out. It's just it's a personal thing. It's not a. I'm trying to trash you guys, but I feel like it's a little lazy, maybe. And if you think I'm taking, or if somebody thinks I'm taking a shot at people who use those programs, it's not. But it is something how I've always been trained, is to draw everything, learn. Why did I learn all this perspective stuff if I don't use it? Muttman, Kevin, is this your first creating our own book? No, but this is the one that I really think I really want to get out there. I want you guys to have fun with. In some respects, it's my first creator-owned book because it's completely me. I don't have anybody helping. I don't have anybody writing. I don't have anybody else doing anything other than doing what you see here. I'm just here drawing it myself. I'm just here writing it myself. I'm controlling the ship. I don't color. My buddy Alonzo, Alonzo Espinoza, also known as Pixel Tool. You can find him on many things like Instagram, Facebook, but he does some pretty cool stuff. He's at that cusp where he can be pretty heavy Marvel DC guy. He just needs that break. But man, are you lettering too? No. Okay, here we go. Well, I do have a letterer. I won't tell you who it is until it launches, but I have a letterer, and he's a very popular guy, go-to guy, and he does great stuff. I have a great logo guy. You can see some of my logos. I don't have it up here right now, but I have a logo guy. Name's Bob Stone, and he did the DragonGuard logo. We have worked around. He asked me what I was thinking of. I drew up a sketch for him. Then he ran with the sketch because I'm not a letterer. And he's done a great logo, and he's going to be doing some of my the cover and the layouts, the pre-production stuff. He'll be helping me out with. So we've got a good team. I can't do it all. I don't have the time to do it all. If you want to if I'm to draw and be able to get this book out, then I can't do the other stuff, or else it would just take too long. Looking at launching next week, the delivery time will be, I'm going to say September. It may be sooner, but as I'm looking at right now with the printers and things like that, that's my goal. The goal is set it or something easy, because I'm inking it myself as well. The goal is to set it somewhere easy where I can realistically deliver something. That's another thing I want to avoid is, sometimes things being late, because you just don't see you don't see some of the troubles that come ahead. We're artists. A lot of us have been doing this stuff, and we haven't published. We're not a publisher, and we don't see everything that can pop up. Flybox Pro, did you decide what binding you're going to do? Realistically, I'm wanting to do, or realistically speaking, it probably makes more sense to do the alternate covers as a straight out floppy, but I'm wanting the prices. I'm just trying to find, that's what I'm at with the printers and with the quotes, is finding a perfect binding that's done pretty cheap. Trusty Sidekick, hey man, what's going on? There's a fellow I know for a little while, even before the YouTube stuff. And anyway, looking at the printing, perfect binding is what I want. I love stuff like Spawn versus Batman, all that stuff that looks so cool. It looks so good, like how in Dark Knight Returns, I believe, was, where where the quality really shines through, and it makes it feel like it's an important event, like it's a very big deal, as a graphic novel. So the perfect binding is what we're going to go for. I'm going to finalize this stuff once I know the numbers on the printing, all the different places. I know I've looked at what's the site? Kablam. I've looked at them. They've got decent prices so far, but it's just a question of them beating that. Trusty Sidekick. Hey, my man. Hey, Kevin. Just finished pencils for page 2 of Lunch Meat. Is that a book you're doing? Is that a book going to be like a Indiegogo or something like that, Trusty? If Trusty is who I think it is, then his name is Kevin too. So anyway. But I would, the problem you get with these things, it's like being a kid in a candy store. You look at some of this stuff and you go, man, I want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Oh, some of these so cool. So you kind of want to treat yourself to all these, these cool perks and things like that. And then you got to kind of pull yourself back. But I don't want to skimp on Perfect Bound. That's important. What I was going to say before, the problem, not problem, but the hurdle to get around with Perfect Bound is having alternate covers, because I don't know how the expense works on shifting over to an alternate cover. I can also talk with Mike. I need to get Mike on there. And so yeah. Then I know exactly who you are, Trustee. And sometimes my memory gets a little whack, but I know who you are, brother. And he's a good guy. But yeah, so once I got to remember to talk to Mike about this too. But that's the important thing, is just finding where the perfect bound. If the printers can do it for a reasonable fee to switch over on the covers, then perfect bound it is, Let's see, Flybox Pro. I was thinking of doing an entry for a short story contest on Webtoons, but it would delay my work on my book. Yeah, my fiance does a book on Webtoons too. She really loves it. I guess if you're used to manga and things like that Webtoons is really interesting and stuff. I can't get into it just because of the format of the scrolling down and having to do your art and loading your something. I don't know why it plays with my mind a little bit. I don't get into it, but my fiance, she really loves it. So Webtoon seems like a fun format to get into. I think maybe Brian Shearer does stuff on Webtoons too. Oh, Flybox Pro. What's her book called? It's called her book is called Unconquered, I believe is what the name of it is. I keep getting it mixed with Uncharted. So there you go. Oh, Muttman, you're later, y'all. Keep going, Kevin. It's looking great. Hey, thank you, brother. I'm glad you came into the stream, man. Thank you. You have an awesome evening, dude. Yeah, Brian is on Webtoons. Cool. Yeah, there you go. William the Last is Brian's book on Webtoon. Yeah, there we go. And my fiance, I mean, I do too. I'm just waiting for him to put it in like a collected format or something. But yeah, my fiance loves William the Last. That's how she kind of got inspired to do hers on Webtoon. A little bit, she really liked what Brian was doing with William the Last. And anyway, it's just called Unconquered. And I hope she'll forgive me for goofing up the name a little bit, getting it mixed up with Uncharted. I'll do that all the time. Let's see here. So if any of you guys got any other questions, feel free to let me know. We're just going to have a good time. I'm going to sit here and eat for a little longer. And as I go along, I'll show you guys a little closer shot of the eats and stuff. But yeah, basically a lot of this was inspired by those 80s cartoons. So if you like, I really would hope you check out DragonGuard, get on the mailing list. It's on the DragonGuard mailing list. The pre-launch page before we start this weekend will be the link is in the description. You can check that out. Got my PayPal link in there too. That's only if I do. That's only if I do a a auction. I don't know if there's anything you guys were looking for. If you wanted to do an auction, let me know if there's some kind of artwork or something like that. I can switch over. Maybe I'll do auction off. I've got a Bigfoot Bill piece. I've got a Sonic piece, and I'd start those if we did do an auction. Just out there, just an idea. Would do them working like the Friday night auctions. A jalapeno milk. Does your fiance draw Unconquered? Yeah, she does it, and she does everything. She does the inking digitally, and then she does the colors herself. And she's just learning a lot of these things. She's just learning what's the program she's using. I know she uses a little bit of Procreate. She uses a little bit of Clip Studio Paint, maybe. But all of everything she draws first on the page. She draws in pencil, and then she scans them up, throws them in, and then she does the digital inking on top of that. Jalapeno Milk, would you do a live commission? Yes, sir. I would do a live commission. That would be cool. And I could do most of it during the stream. Basically, just going to play it by ear with my medicine. My medicine is treating me. I seem to be okay for right now. Maybe it's subsided some of the side effects. I don't want to get too graphic, but I want, I don't want to go into it. But if you look up metformin, METFORMIN, sometimes the generic version of that has some specific side effects, and I tend to get hit with those because a lot of my medicine is the generic kind because I can't afford the really good stuff. Flybox Pro just finished up a painting. I'm going to make an print. Awesome. Very awesome. Share that around. Share it on tag me in it and share it if you share it to Twitter or something like that, okay? Flybox Pro, I use Clip Studio. Yeah, I got to learn that. Everybody's telling me it's some good stuff to use. Flybox Pro already have some people interested in buying it. I have a lot of middle-aged women who like my art, apparently. Hey, that's cool. If somebody's willing to check it out, somebody's willing to buy it, then you're selling and you're doing something cool. Hey, that's awesome. If there's an audience for you and a customer base for you, then dude, go for it. There you go. So if I was to do an auction and it was commissioned and we do spend a little time on here for about an hour or so, here's my thing. My usual commissions, whenever I start those at a show or anything else for anybody, I usually start around 160. For a pencil piece, what kind of commission would you guys like to see me draw? If that was something they wanted. I know Jalapeno Milk threw it out there. So you guys can put it in the chat, let me know, and I can do it. I know Gary doesn't Gary do that on some of his streams? He draws a piece, he starts it off, and then you guys auction it, do the auction thing and bid on it. Am I crazy, or is that how he does that? I don't know. I'm not as familiar. I had my moment the other day with ideas. Yeah, exactly. I got your Iron Man and Fin Fang Foom. I don't have it here on the desk. And actually, whenever you see me here, when you see this desk and you see how there's kind of this gray, I'm actually at my fiance's work. So I don't, sometimes, like if the dogs, we have some chihuahuas and a couple of birds. And so they're really loud. So when they're being noisy and whatnot, I tend to run off, and I'm lucky to where I know the people that she works for, and they gracious and kind enough to let me come in here and stream if I need to. So that's where I'm at. So I brought a few things with me. But I guarantee you, Mark Anthony, you'll see some more of that next week. With everything, I apologize with everything with the build up to the book and trying to figure out this thing. It's been a mile a minute, so I've been a little forgetful, and forgive me, everybody. But things are getting mailed out. I said it earlier in the stream, and Mark Anthony, I know you already probably know, but I just got shipment of Mylars in. I won't go into the long story of that, but I do have to get a little bit more on the ball because I'm underestimating the demand for my stuff. It's crazy. I've been doing shows for years doing comic shows, and I've never seen the demand. And I say this not as a bad thing. I'm saying it as I really appreciate you guys. I've never seen the demand I've had just by doing a few streams with Mike. Never seen the demand for my stuff the way it is, and it's just mind blowing, you know. So I thank you guys, and so I've got to get a little bit more. What's the word? I just need to get a little bit more on the ball and understanding the demand for it because I've never had to order as many Mylars and things like that as I am, so I need to start ordering larger bulks of that. You know what? I'd love to see the latest Broly design from DragonGuard or Dragon Ball. Sorry, a Dragon Ball Super in your style. Well, I tell you what. If there's somebody that wants to vote, if you want to do this, it depends on whether or not I can get a guaranteed confirmed for a piece, at least as far as starting an auction. If I start an auction and I can get it confirmed on a Broly, I will look it up and I will do it. I hope I'm even pronouncing that properly. I know Dragon Ball Z is super popular with a lot of people, but I also know that a lot of those people, are really, really particular about the style you draw it into. And I only say that because it's definitely not a style I draw. And then I've had a few people that want to see it in my style. They really enjoy it. So, Broly. All right, cool. Broly is right. All right. He's like Japan's Hulk. Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll look it up here in just a second. I'm noodling it just a little bit on my Dragon Guard page here. I'm getting this ready for the colorist, my man Alonzo Espinoza, who is Pixel Tool on Instagram, is Pixel Tool on Facebook, I believe. He's also Alonzo Espinoza on Facebook, and I believe he's Alonzo Espinoza on Twitter. And he is my color boy, my man, the man. And you guys can hit him up if you have commissions or things like that. He's a good guy. I like him a lot. But I've got to get a couple more pages ready. A couple more pages ready for the launch with him as far as doing colors. So we can have. I would really want to have some cool color pieces up on the launch. You've seen quite a few of those. I keep sharing those. Popefire the Starfire Goddess. Hello, Popefire. Glad to have you in here. Sweet. All right, cool. This is awesome. Glad to see you guys in here. Just more and more share if you can. Let people know. But I've got some, got at least one or two surprises for you when it comes to the Dragon Guard launch. One of the stretch goals, I think, if you like my artwork, if you want to see behind the scenes stuff, you want to see what it's like to peek into my sketchbook, things like that, then I guarantee you're going to like the stretch goal that I have for you. And I really want to make this a hit. I want to show people that we can give you professional books, professional looking books, stuff that Marvel and DC do, we can give you, and we can give you maybe even a little cooler than Marvel and DC. We go back to doing things where you're not disappointed in them. You don't have to have politics and BS shoved down your throat in the books. That's important to me. Um, it's a new paradigm in terms of it's a shift into where we're trying to give you something better than what you expect from independent books. We try to give you something better than what you expect from Marvel because they're letting us down. I feel like they're letting me as a fan down. Um, Whatever they think they're selling as far as agendas or whatever, I feel like they're letting us down. And my goal, or drawing me to doing this almost doing a book myself, was to not let you guys down. Uh, to give you something fun, man. I mean, if you go back and look, a lot of these licensed books, they're from back in the day. Like if you look at like a lot of like if you look at He-Man and Thundercats, they were in the Star line, the kids line for Marvel and DC. They weren't in your or at least for Marvel it was in the Star line. They weren't aimed at adults in terms of quality or anything like that. They were automatically sent to, hey, here's the kids line, and it's understandable because it was TV, but in terms of seeing something better, seeing the potential and what these books could be, there's a reason why Thundercats still sticks with everybody. There's a reason why He-Man still sticks with everybody. There's a reason why G.I. Joe and why Transformers does. And I think people underestimated it back then. Captain Hilt. How many pages will you have completed, completely inked? Well, as far as the inks, though, I'm putting the inks aside, or at least I'm starting all the inks now in terms of the books. So I've got 20 pages of pencils, or somewhere close to that. Oh my God, Kev, you guys talking about me? Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I just mentioned your Unconquered book. I figured I'd get some people to check out your Unconquered book or your story on Webtoons. Oh no, our secret's out. Yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, as far as the pages goes, the inks, I think I'm about 10 pages in as far as the inks go. I'm inking the page right here. There's a double page that is kicking my ass. I got a double page spread for you guys in the pencils. Um, but as far as the pencil pages, we got 20 pages and 20. Let me see. I'm trying to remember everything. There's this page. So I think I'm closer to 22. I'm somewhere near half of the 48. I don't. Again, I don't have them with me because, like I said, I'm broadcasting from the EIB network. No, sorry, Rush. Please don't come get me. Anyway, I erased the hair here. I'm going to work on tightening that up to make it a little nicer. But here's one of the pages. You guys have seen a little bit of it already online. I figure I'll show you guys a fight scene. Seen this character, Mark Anthony from New York. Yeah, live from New York. He outed me. Yeah, I know. I went ahead and doxed my fiance. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, that's one of those things I'm gonna have to learn. I'm gonna have to learn because I tend to ramble, and when I ramble, I'm not thinking, especially when I'm drawing. Um, but she has jalapeno milk with talent on loan from God. Yeah, yeah, hell yeah, damn straight. Um, Rush, don't come after me, please. Um, but we love Rush. We love Rush. Um, but anyway, you guys can check that out. I'll just give you a little detail, A little bit of crazy cross hatching. A lot of big old teeth. So you wonder where this badass dude got these teeth from, how big this creature was that he had to take down that had these teeth. He's part Mogwai from the Gremlins. I'm kidding. Joe Dante, whoever did it, don't come after me. Let's hear it for New York. Pour water on him. Yep, exactly. He'll turn into a bunch of gremlins. But you guys get a little sneak peek. This is a tiny panel. This is actually a tiny panel. You can see some of the Flybox Pro. All right, what did I miss? Not much, buddy. Yeah, but if you get a chance to check out Unconquered. Unconquered is on Webtoons. We were talking about Brian Shearer, and it led me into talking about how you were a fan of Brian's book William the Last or his project, and that I thought it was on Webtoons, and that's how I got there. I hope you get a few or a few likes and share follows on your page. Hey, thank you, Captain Hilt. Yeah, I just wanted to share that. I'm rocking and rolling. And so basically, here's the thing with the Kickstarter. I can't, or not Kickstarter. I really wish I'd stop saying that. With the Indiegogo, is that I need you guys to help me pay for, or that's the point of it, is that I get everybody to help me pay for a colorist. I'm paying for some of the colors out of pocket right now when I can. You know, it's not easy because you have a family and you're paying bills and you're paying for whenever the kids are getting sick and you're paying for your car payments, your house payments, your whatever as a professional. So it's not easy to have the extra money to pay somebody. But for the launch, I've been paying for this stuff out of pocket, whether it's the logo and stuff, and it doesn't come cheap. And I say that well, not altogether unappreciative of the fact that Alonzo is actually a really reasonable rate for what he does. It just isn't very, it isn't easy for me to pay right now, So when the book launches, I need to be able to pay for myself as well. Just, in terms of getting the work done and things like that so that I can sit at home. Because right now, a lot of it is, but here's the balance I have to strike. I mean, I can sit here and talk to you guys. I have to do commissions to pay the bills extra, and then so I have time or I have the money to do the other stuff and get the pages done. And so when I'm doing commissions, I'm taking a little bit of time away from the work. When I do the Indiegogo, I can afford, with your help, with you guys' help, the people out there, I can afford to make this my only thing. I can afford to make this my only focus. That's part of where all this goes. Flybox Pro, yeah, good work isn't cheap. I'm fortunate I have a really good friend who does graphic design that gives me a deal. Yeah, exactly. See, that's the thing. There's so many people out here that are good. I want to give you guys a good product, and to give you guys a good product, that also means getting good people, and getting good people isn't cheap. Even when they're being cheap, it isn't cheap. So let's see here. Again, that's pretty much going to be the final shot for her face, and then you got this dude. Our main hero is Iran. Well, I still may change his name. I'm not sure. I've went through and made a bunch of list of names for the characters and trying to find what feels and look and sounds like the really cool name. And jalapeno milk, I'm going to be starting to sketch of Broly here shortly. Just putting a little bit more ink down. Flybox Pro Brian is awesome. Yes, he is. And right now I'm inking the cat-like character in my book. Sort of the swashbuckler kind of Jack Sparrow, maybe. The closest I could think of. Not quite, but he's something like that. He's got kind of that fast wit, kind of ladies' man kind of deal going on. And my snake character, snake man, snake warrior kind of character is kind of a little bit more, if you think of Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation, very stern, very rigid. Any humor that I have in the book comes from him being a very rigid, very take everything at face value kind of character. He doesn't. He's not. He's very humorless, and the humor comes from him being humorless. If there is any humor, it won't be it won't be a comedy per se, but there'll be some elements of it. Let's look at the chat. Hey, Mark, you're going to sell me one of those Gary pages you brought yesterday. Oh, Lord, I need a hero. Really, hasn't that song been done to death, though? Awesome. Okay, I'm going to look up Broly. It's a jalapeno milk. If you're still there, what is version of Broly? Does he have a specific costume or anything like that? If you're still there. Let's see here. Mark Anthony says stream could cut out before you sell it, before Gary could sell the last one. Oh, okay. Like the Jennifer Saunders version from Shrek 2. Is that the fairy godmother you mean? All right. Broly from the Dragon Ball Super movie. Let's see. All right, let's see. Well, if somebody wants a commission, tell you what, here we go. I'm going to grab. If somebody was going to bid on a commission, what size would you like? I have 11 by 17, or I have 9 by 12. I could probably draw the 9 by 12 a little faster, but fairy godmother, yes, exactly. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, she was great in Shrek. That was awesome. That was awesome. My daughter absolutely loved it. My mother, who is no longer with us, she used to watch that with my niece all the time. She absolutely loved the Shrek movies. Let's see. You know, just in my family, the Shrek movies are a big deal. Oh yeah, there's a Mystique. I was roughing out the other day, just goofing around because I really like Mystique's classic design. Sexy. This is going to be the rough beginnings of a Starfire. This was all kind of done in my free time while I was sitting waiting for something. I can't remember what it was. Where was I at? Oh well. Anyway, point is, there's a Starfire I was roughing out. Nighthawk Warrior. Hello, Nighthawk Warrior. Glad to have you in the chat. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Flybox Pro user. Okay, yeah. Anyway, there's the Mystique I was working on. All right. So here's a question: if jalapeno milk, if there's one you want, would you 11 by 17, 11 by 17, or 9 by 12? If I do the 9 by 12, I'll start it off at 100, I think. 11 by 17 would be 160. Let's see. So you guys let me know in the chat. Tell me 11 by 17 or 9 by 12. And I'm going to look up while we're all chatting. Everybody's in. We got 11 likes and 9 people watching right at the moment or engaged. I want you guys share. Let everybody know I'm out there. I'm here. Let's keep talking DragonGuard. We'll talk about whatever you want. Flybox Pro. I like how loose your pencils are while still being here. Oh, jalapeno milk. How much did you say? Well, the pieces. I'll start the 9 by 12 100 or the 11 by 17 at 160. 160. And we'll go from there. Let me look up Broly. Check it out. Also, let me check this in my pad because I brought my pad with me, so I have to see what exactly I ran here. Let's see. I am all over the place tonight, guys. Well, there's Sonic, and I'll put the Sonic out here. There's the Sonic that I did from Drawn and Quartered. I can't remember if that was a gold medal or not. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Anyway, there's the Sonic, and I'll start that off at 60 if anybody's interested. And that's just like a lightning round. All you have to do is say Sonic confirmed or whatever. But let's see. Is it Durakin? Durakin? Like dragon? Durakin? Yeah. Humphrey Bear, $20 confirmed. Yeah, well, we're starting it off at 70. So Humphrey Bear, glad to have you in. I just noticed that. Okay, cool, man. Thank you for coming in. I'm glad to have you here. I'm glad. Oh, look, we're up to 12 people and 13 likes. We're rocking and rolling. Glad to have you guys here. If you have any questions about the book, anything like that, feel free to ask me. We're talking about DragonGuard. I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing otherwise. Oh, yeah, this is drawn and quartered the Calvin and Hobbes episode, and we just did that. I'm going to get that up a little closer. I drew. Uh-oh. We're having a little fuck. There we go. There we go. Focus, focus, focus. And this one is $50. If you see that, you want it, type $50 confirmed. And as with the Friday night auctions, if you could chip in a little bit for shipping, if you're in across the pond, and if if you're in Canada, add in $20 for shipping. I'm sorry to have to ask you, it's just the shipping's insane. Okay, blurry video. Yeah, see, we got it. We dragon see no guard. Struck. Okay, all right. I hear you. Okay, all right. You want to talk? You want to see some Dragon Guard? Before I start jumping in, we're just talking about maybe me sketching out Broly. All right, here. You want to see some Dragon Guard, my friend? There's some Dragon Guard. There's a page from Dragon Guard. All right. This is what you can expect. The level of insanity from Dragon Guard. So there you go. There's some Dragon Guard. Here we'll get a little tighter. Hopefully my camera will shift in just a second so you guys can see. All right, Nighthawk Warrior. How many pages is Dragon Guard? We're looking at 48 right now. One of the stretch goals may be to make it 60. I may start it out 60. I'll tell you why. Because I've been breaking down the story and really for it to breathe and do the things I want to do with it. I would like it to be 60. I know Mike is going to pummel me after he hears that. But 60 is where I'm aiming. Oh, thank you, Flybox Pro. That is awesome. Awesome. I appreciate the compliment. I need to hear that sometimes, you know. Just want to know you're going, you know, you want to know you're going in the right direction. Trying to see if I had anything else for you guys to share with you guys before I got down to it. Oh yeah, there's this page. Just got a little. I had to do some corrections with one of the top panels, but there's a great shot. It's kind of a spoiler. If you look at some of my other pages, this might actually be a spoiler. I don't know. So I'll leave it to you to do some deep dive looking around to see if you can find other pages. But that is a good shot. Here we go. Let me move this up here. Nighthawk Warrior, great art, great pages. But why 60? Why 60 pages? 60 pages so I can expand the story a little. Mike thought, well, part of it's based on shipping. Some of his advice is that if you get past a certain number, your shipping goes up dramatically when you're shipping the books. No, wait, hold on. Durakin, no. The shipping for international, $20 sounds lethal to me. No, I wasn't talking about that. I was talking about as far as the like if I shipped the commission here. That's not the book. So I don't want to confuse that. I wasn't saying $20 for the actual Indiegogo, okay? So just to clarify that, if that helps. But anyway, so here's another sneak peek. You guys can see what I'm throwing in there. All right. So Dragon. There you go. 60 pages. Nighthawk Warrior. Like I was saying, there was a certain weight limit when it comes to shipping with the, I guess it's the media mail, is what we were talking about. And and with the Gemini mailers and all that stuff comes together, you want to keep it under, I guess, international shipping is $28 from all my research. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, and I'm talking about, well, when I thought I guess you and I got our wires crossed. I was talking about the commission, the not the commission, but the drawn and quartered Calvin and Hobbes, or shipping some of the artwork. I try to keep it like that. I'll eat a little bit of the price when it comes to shipping for commissions and things like that, but we'll work there. Let's see. But yeah, it's Nighthawk Warrior. That's some of the reasons. But 60 pages is for giving the story a little bit more room to breathe, a little bit more. I want to do a couple of splashy double page spreads where something, in other words, in the story where you have an action. There's some battles, there's some fights, and if I can tell a story by making it really important, making it seem important or more grander by doing a double page spread, I'd rather do a double page spread. So there you go. When's your campaign? Looking at next weekend. We're counting down, looking at next weekend. Let's see. So there we go. Let me look up Super Broly or hey, Dark Admiral March here. Hi all. Finally caught a stream. Hey, glad to have you here. Glad to have you here. We got 12 people in, 13 likes. Share. Like if you can. And I'm going to do a little searching while we are here. So if you guys have any more questions that I can ramble on, talk, answer, whatever you need, I am here. Let's see. All right, let me go back in this chat real quick. I'm looking at the chats right now. Yeah, I'm trying to look around in Dragon Ball Super movie. Okay. Yeah, that camera just decided to go crazy. Let's see. Dark Admiral March here. Were you a fan of Silverhawks or Tiger Sharks? Yes, absolutely. All of the above, man. Yeah, dude, I was a fan of all that stuff. I got DVDs for the Silverhawks. I watch those when I can. Family, it doesn't like it as much. They think it's a little cheesier, but I watch it when I can. I'm a fan of all that stuff. The art style was a big thing that drew. Nighthawk Warrior. Most of my pages, 1 to 2 days, depending on the time that I have. It's not so much that it's. How can I explain this and get it in a way? If I have a deadline, I can produce in the deadline that they want me to. But doing things that is detailed as what I'd like to do sometimes takes a little longer. And it's not only that, there are other factors. Like some days, you got to take the kids to school. Some days the kids are sick. You got to take them to the doctor. I'm a stay-at-home dad while I'm doing this stuff. When I'm doing the art. So there's a lot of factors into what goes in a page, but generally, most of my good pages take about 10 to 12 hours worth of work. And why is this camera going crazy? Not wanting to focus. Maybe I need to put something black into the frame or something. Come here. My camera's going nuts. I'm sorry, guys. There we go. Yeah, you know, a good page takes 10 to 12 hours worth of work. And you know, that's just kind of what it takes for me. Some people are different. Also, there's a lot of other factors. You know, if I get a page or a series of pages where it's just talking heads, not the band, but the story elements. If it's if it's just talking heads, I'll give you like a conversation or something like that. Those things go by way quicker. A lot of it's just I don't even have to, other than thinking out and blocking out their positioning in the room or maybe at a different angle. Those things I don't have to think is hard, so I don't have to draw it out and really rough it up. Get into the layout, those kind of things. So they go a little faster. Like a lot of times the talking head page will only take like 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, depending on how many panels. If somebody gives you a page with 8 panels, it may take longer than a page with 4 panels. If it's a 4-panel page of just talking heads, then that stuff goes by real easy. I can knock that out in no time. So it really depends on the content of the page. I always make this joke. I usually make this joke as like a writer can write. A writer might write a sentence in a script, and it'll say, "Hey, double page spread on a battlefield. Hundreds of so and so warriors are clashing with hundreds of so and so warriors." Well, guess what? That one sentence, 2 sentences, took him maybe 15 minutes to think about and write, and then I have to draw that. And so I've got to draw hundreds of warriors. I have to draw the background details. Maybe it's maybe it's a Lord of the Rings story and Mount Doom and the Eye of Sauron in the background, and then you have all these warriors and orcs fighting, and you have to draw all that. So it's very, very easy for a writer to write that, but we've got to actually draw that crap. Okay. And so that's a good idea of understanding how that works. What's DragonGuard about? All right. Well, I started it earlier on the show, but I will go ahead and tell you again. DragonGuard is a story about basically there's this ancient evil. If we go back further, I don't want to give too much away the story. I think I've mentioned this before. I think my functioning problem with a lot of the trailers and things nowadays is that they give you too much of the story. You can piece together the story in the trailer, and some of it's spoiled for you, and that happens a lot more nowadays. I want it to be kind of mysterious, but we'll start here and we'll say that there was an ancient evil, and that this other character, this warrior mage, and his dragon, something happens. He imbues his soul into the sword. All right, and the guy dies while fighting this ancient evil, and the ancient evil goes away. He had disappeared, but on the eve of his return, this evil character, who I call Cryptogore, on the eve of his return, there's this order called the Dragon Guard, and there's the protectors of the sword bearer, and they're sworn to find the sword bearer, the person who can use the sword, and protect him and help guide him in the way of being able to use the sword. and they're called the Dragon Guard. And then you have the kid, and the sword bearer is actually this kid, this teenager son of a blacksmith, and that's where our story starts off of. Let's see. Let me go back through. Dragon says there are differences in where the time sink comes in. Artists take time to draw the pictures. Writers take a long time to come up with all the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, exactly. And I don't. Dragon, definitely, you're pointing out something there. I was pointing out the process and not necessarily, definitely not slagging writers in the least. I'm just saying that a lot of times when people see certain things, they don't understand the time that comes into play when we have to draw it. So yeah, definitely. There's no slagging good writers out there. I don't want to make it seem like I was. I've gotten scripts like that where somebody just, you get a sentence of so and so, and then I have to draw it, and it can be daunting, I guess. and that's part of the creative process. Jalapeno milk. I've got $100 for you on the Broly. Okay, you got it, brother. Do you want Super Saiyan Broly? I guess because I'm seeing. I got to forgive me. I don't know a lot about the Dragon Ball Z stuff. The pictures I'm seeing, he's got in one pic. He's got green hair. I can't screen share. That's a bad thing. He's got green hair, and then others he's got black hair. He wears a dark green and purple costume or armor. Just let me know. Just tell me in the chat. Let me know if I'm right about that. If whatever's I'm right about, I can go with the reference that I have. Man, I got to get on the techno site. See, I don't have like OBS. I don't have OBS or I don't have StreamYard. I got to pay for StreamYard. I like StreamYard. I really do. Jalapeno Milk says, with the fur around his waist. Dragon says, as a colorist, I hate that stuff even more than the penciler. Yeah, brother. I know. And see, that's the thing. I will draw super uber detailed stuff, and then that even makes it harder for you guys too. Like my pencils make it harder for some inkers, and then the inkers, sometimes it can be worse. Make it harder on them. I see green hair on your thumbnail. Yeah. For the let's see. Super Saiyan for sure. Okay, all right. Well, that works. Yeah, he's got the green hair. He's got the thing wrapped him. Bare chested. There you go. All right, we're going to do that. So you guys are going to watch me draw this in progress, okay? My man, Jalapeno Milk, confirm where is your PayPal? Is my PayPal in the description? It should be in there. I thought I had put that in there. Just double check, confirm for me. I know I put the link for Dragon Guard. The sign up is in there for everybody watching. The sign up is in there. I'll give you guys something fun to watch. So I'm going to sit here and sketch a Super Saiyan Broly for my man. Here we go. And then my pencil wanted to part out on me here. Just a second. Apparently one of my pencils was running out of lead. They say that happens when a man gets older. All right, let's see. Okay. Well, this was a cool, fun live stream. Peace out, everyone. Nightheart Warrior, it's great having you around, man. I hope I answered your questions to your satisfaction. You have a good night, buddy. Zombie Kebab, good night. It says good night, man. All right. Zombie Kebab said, yeah, the information is there. Yeah, it's just Kevok 73. When you see that, that should be there. All right. Let's see. We're going to go in here right now. You're going to watch it live. Oh, God, for some reason, the camera's just, ever since I showed one of the pieces up close, it started to go real funky on me. So if you can't see it, it will show up soon. Just give me a moment. Dang that. All right. Yeah, I'm going to rough this in real quick. Get an idea of. That's the problem. I get really into when I get into something. If I get in there and there's something that I want to get excited about, I tend to draw too. I tend to cramp everything up in the page because I tend to want to make it larger than life, and really have it just blasting out, just. And I tend to cramp everything in there and not leave a lot of space. It's a bad habit I have sometimes. So you guys are going to watch me do it right here. Okay, a pencil is near my laptop up front. Yeah, it's not the problem that I have having a pencil for it. It's a problem of having a drafting pencil that's soft enough to where I'm not scraping into the page. There's a lot of my fine detail pencils, and this is just for everybody in the chat, this little FYI kind of deal. I tend to do my fine detail with the 2H pencil, and I use a softer, just regular H or a F for my layout, so I can get moving without having the pencil scrape or drag into the paper, because I tend to press really hard when I get into my details. It's just a bad habit I have. So here we go. Boom, boom. All right. And jalapeno milk, I'm going to get you a close-up of how this layout's going to look in just a second. All right. I'm coming for you, Jim Lee. Yeah. It reminds me where he was doing a Twitch stream and was drawing, I think, a Dragon Ball character or something like that. And I'm just sitting here going, I was like, I wonder how fast I can get my layout drawn and whether or not I can do it faster than Jim Lee. That's why I just randomly shout stuff like, I'm coming for you, Jim Lee. Let's see. All right, let's see. Dragon says, Captain Hiltz, thank you for putting the link in the chat too. Awesome of you. Dude, you're so awesome. I guarantee your piece is gonna have the love in it, and it's going out this week. I have Mylars finally, so you guys will get it. All right, here we go. We're gonna go in here. If you can see his body, hopefully you can see his body in the layout. There's gonna be some energy and all this cool stuff. Transformation. A little screaming, a little shouting. Okay, Draken says, which do you prefer the writer to do? Huge amounts of detail in the panel description or bare bones and pretty much just enough to give you the idea of what they want in the essentials? Let's see. Jalapeno Milk says, hey, thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Awesome that you want one. I'm going to give you the coolest thing I can give you. All right, going back to Draken's question. Which do you prefer as writer to do? Huge amounts of detail or bare bones? Well, it depends on the writer's style. It depends on the writer's style and how well they handle that kind of thing. I've had people write stuff that's kind of detailed and it's fun and it's given me a vivid enough description to where I'm going, oh yeah, I totally get it, and I get really jazzed. But then there's some writers that just, if they write a lot of detail, they get very slavish, and you start to lose the fun, or you start to get bogged down in so much detail that you're like, man, it's like, where am I going to have any room to create, or where am I going to have any room to really give it some punch? Because they went through it and they go, I got to have this. I want to see this, this, and this. So I've had plenty of detail guys write something really fun. I tell you who's really good about it and has a really good writing style. It was DNA, and if you're familiar who I'm talking about, it's Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning, I want to say. That's what they call themselves. They were writing all the Marvel space books like Nova, a lot of those. I guess Annihilation, things like that. They were writing that, and they did an awesome. Oh, can you check and see if you got it? Yeah, brother. I will look right now. Let me check here. Checking my. Yes, sir. Thank you, Jalapeno Milk, dude. You are awesome. Yep, I got it. You're confirmed. No problem. Now my job is just to give you something really badass, you know. But going back to what I was saying, I did 3 issues of Nova, and they were some of the most fun scripts. And there was a balance. They weren't too long, too super descriptive, but they just had enough there. And their writing in the script was where, in the actual, the dialogue was heavier, and they got the job done. They described enough, but they left enough room for me to play, and to me, that was some of the most fun books that I got a chance to draw. My editor was great. He gave me leeway. He gave me a decent amount of time. It's coincidental. I'll tell you, it's a coincidental thing, and I know some people might lose their minds on it. But you guys have been seeing the stuff for that new Crystal Dynamics Avengers game, the one where it's going to be where the models weren't really all like, what am I going to say? Like it's an Avengers game, but eventually, as you find out more, it's actually kind of more about Ms. Marvel and some of the newer Marvel characters. But it starts off with the Avengers. They were showed it. Well, my editor was the guy who was basically running that game on the Marvel end, running all the stuff on there. His name's Bill Roseman. And Bill was great. I mean, whatever it was, he was the best editor, one of the best editors, if not the best editor I've ever had the occasion to work for. Guy just, we needed more people like him that didn't have to get bogged down with telling the artist every little thing. Because what happens is sometimes you get no diss, and I'm not going to name names, and I'm hoping it won't get me in too much trouble, but hell, I'm probably already in trouble, whatever you want to say. But there were other editors I had that the problem is nowadays, it's not just me. So let me say it in a different way. There's a lot of editors out there, no matter what side of the fence is, that have taken more like a writer approach, where they tell everybody, this is what the book's going to do, and they kind of basically take over at least some of the story elements from the writers and the artists, and they just kind of tell you where to go and how they want to run the ship. And so sometimes it's not fun in a certain way, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, the collaboration gets a little watered down or bogged down in things. And I understand there's certain things they've got to watch out for too. And I don't want to be too judgmental, but there are, more writer-driven editors. There are people who want to sit back and let the artists and the collaborators, create fun stuff. But yeah, my editor on Nova was, and working with DNA, they just did such a good job communicating with artists and giving artists scripts that were visually fun, but set back just enough. There's no real what's to say? There's no real formula to tell you guys when it comes to that stuff. You just know it when you get it. So you click with this person really well. What's another good experience I had? My editor, Jason Liebig, it's a shame he was gone. I don't know. You could probably find articles why he was gone. I don't know, and I personally wasn't exposed to it. It wasn't like I was in the office to know why he was let go. But I know that Jason Liebig, who was the editor on Generation X, he was awesome. Dude, I'll tell you, funny story about that. I was at this is to give you an idea of some of my, when I was younger, some of my self-esteem issues. I was dying to get to break through to Marvel, you know. And so I was doing this black and white book, and I was telling you guys about this earlier. It's called The Book, and it was a creator-owned thing. And we were at a MegaCon, and Tim Townsend was there. And we were hanging out with Tim Townsend because Tim Townsend was inking for my friend's fantasy book. He was inking covers. One of them was Brandon Peterson, and he was inking that. And we got to know Tim. We went to a party over at his house. This and that. I love Tim, and I know Tim lately had some problems with me because of who I voted for, whatever. But I love Tim to death. But Tim takes me aside and says, "Hey, there's this editor. We were at MegaCon. He goes, there's this editor I want you to meet." And I showed him my stuff, and he said he liked it. He kind of razzed me a little bit about some of my sample pages. Like I had Bishop kind of. I remember I had a Bishop sitting in this chair, and he's very laid back kind of thing. And you know, I think Jason made a joke about how kind of effeminate his pose was in laying there in a chair. It was something really small, but I just took that as Jason didn't like my stuff. You know, I was like, he really razzed me about the pose. Like, what's this dude, man? You know, this is Bishop, man. Why is he? And so, me being the at the time being the very low self-esteem artist that I was like, dude, he hates my stuff. So, you know, after looking through my portfolio, Jason looks at it and goes, "Hey, dude, you know, you got some good stuff here. Here's my number. Call me." And, you know, you ever hear those stories about Hollywood where they're like, hey, the phony kind of, "Hey, call me, babe," that kind of thing. Well, I took it as that, or I might have taken it as he really doesn't like my stuff. He's just being nice. So I never called him. Excuse me, mouse drying out. So I never called him. And Tim's like asking me, he's like, "Dude, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you call him?" And I was like, I thought he was just kind of blowing me off." He's like, "No, dude, if he tells you to call him, you call him." So Jason calls me and he goes, "Dude, what the hell are you doing? This is Marvel and stuff. Like, I told you to call me." And, he said it very tongue in cheek. It's just how you're hearing me talk right now. Very tongue in cheek, very laid back. It wasn't like chew you out like, "Hey, we're a Marvel, dummy. You're supposed to call us." And it wasn't anything like that, but it was just very like, "What the hell are you doing? What's wrong with you, man?" And I'm sort of laughing, and I'm like, I just thought, you were just being nice, and it was kind of, I didn't want to tell him phony, but that's how I assumed it was. If you had been there for the portfolio review, and of course that makes no sense. If you're listening out there, why would you tell somebody? Of course you're listening. If somebody told you to call them, for work, why the hell would they tell you to call them for work and then not mean it? It's like, why would they want somebody they hate annoying the hell out of them for work? So anyway, it's so funny. I have to laugh at it because I laugh at the way how low my self-esteem was about it. And so he called me. He goes, "Dude, I got Generation X. I'll give you a fill-in issue. You want to do a fill-in issue or either it was the annual, one or the other." He's like, "Hey, dude, you want to do that and stuff? And that'll be your break. And I really like your stuff. Call me." Or you should have called me. You should have called me sooner, I guess is what he was trying to say. And so, it was great. It was one of those things where you just go, "What the hell was I thinking?" And he gave me some work, and he was a nice guy, absolutely nice guy. And I don't know what happened to him. I don't know why he had to leave Marvel, but I absolutely love that guy. And there's been other occasions where I've had other editors where I wanted to tear my hair out, and I'm bald, so that should tell you something. And I've had editors I wanted to tear my hair out dealing with them because they would ask just crazy shit from you, like asking you to draw like another artist, wanting to. I mean, I'm being literally here. They said, "Hey, see how great this guy is? This guy's great. you really should try doing this because we want to keep the look consistent. Can you do this? And they want me to do, and at the time, you need the money, so you could say no, but be honest with you, I did not enjoy working in a grocery store with a manager that was, kind of a jerk. So did I want to go back to working at the grocery store, or do I want to take a gig with our, an editor I may not like, So those are some of the things that happen. Let's see. Humphrey Bear says the stories I don't like are the ones where they say I wasn't really trying and I got hired. Yeah, yeah. That if you're trying to break in, that pisses people off really bad. Jalapeno Milk, you are awesome, man. I love asking American comic artists to draw. Uh-oh. Let me see. It scrolled up on me. Sorry about that, Jalapeno Milk. Uh, Draken. See, I've been told that I'm harsh as an editor, but based on the stories I've heard, I don't think I am. I just tell you what I think is wrong and how I think it needs to be fixed and how it might be. Yeah, that's the um, that's the problem with. Oh, don't take this the wrong way. It's not a problem with editors, but it's a problem with communicating to artists, maybe, because communicating to artists, well, it's like this. If you're an editor and you aren't an artist yourself, it becomes um, it becomes tough to talk to your editor, because when they say they want something and you don't feel you have a give and take, and you don't feel, and it's just the editor's way or the highway, then sometimes the communication gets stifled and you don't have your artist doing his best work, because they may not understand everything what you're looking for from them, or they feel that maybe their creativity is stifled. And part of that is, hey, understand completely, where I'm coming from. Part of that is they haven't learned that, hey, sometimes you need to shut up and just draw the damn book. you know, there's some guys out there that have an ego. Some people have earned that ego because they sold 1 million or so copies of a book, and they know what they're doing. So where do you find that? I know for me, sometimes it's a little hard dealing with an editor. It's a little um, unyielding to maybe the artist's input. Um, so it goes, it can go either way. I totally see your side of the thing too. So jalapeno milk, how am I going on this one? Is this just looking like it's a good start to the form of how you want this guy? Am I getting Broly right? I'll hold it up a little closer. Don't worry, the face is not there. I'm going to have him screaming. I just wanted to rough it basic shape so I can get my form right. So just tell me, jalapeno milk, if I'm getting it right. Jalapeno milk. I was just saying, American comic artists doing mega characters is a really unique look at culture and style. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing. The Dragon Ball people are very discerning. You get a lot of those fans that are very discerning. And Jim Lee took a huge hit when he did that on his on his Twitch stream, because they were giving him hell about his version of what's the main character for Dragon Ball Z? I can't remember his name right at the moment. And so him trying to draw it, Goku, yeah. Jim Lee's Goku is great. Yeah, exactly. It looked fine to me when I was looking at it. I was going, okay, this looks awesome. And I have a buddy of mine who's an artist. His name is John Del Sneed, who I absolutely love. You guys are going to get to know him. I'm going to have him draw something for me. for DragonGuard. If you guys can help me get to the goal, and if we can get to the goal and start getting some of the stretch goals, I'm going to have John Dell do something for us because he's been wanting to break in big time. But John Dell's a huge Dragon Ball Z thing, and he just did not like Jim. There was quite a few people that did not like Jim's Goku, and I tried to understand. He explained to me. He tried to explain to me, and I just could not understand why he couldn't enjoy it. And he's a Jim Lee fan, and he just looked at it and goes, "Man, it's on." And I just didn't understand it, I look at it and go, "Hey, that looks like Goku," and then he goes and goes, "Oh, he's so off." And let me see, and for me with Dragon Ball Z, the reason it's so hard for me to get into it is there's something about the faces I do not like in that style. And so for me to go and try to draw it, I'm going, well, if you get a Dragon Ball Z, I told a couple of friends of mine when they commission, see people at shows and stuff, and they commission me for a Dragon Ball Z kind of a piece, is that I can't draw those eyes like that. I have to draw like me. So if you get a piece from me, it's going to be like this, but it's going to be in my style. And I'll make sure that it kicks ass. But you just have to understand, I can't draw the faces like that. So that's my problem. I tend to run into the thing of, it's, so it's like, be forewarned. I don't draw in that style, and I find the style hard to adapt to in terms of the faces, and that's just me. So I'm glad that you're open. See, yeah, he says, "No, I love your style. This is the best $100 I've spent in a long time." Thank you, brother. Thank you. That is very kind of you. I know when we get on here, there's certain, sometimes the prices depend on the amount of work put into it and things like that. And some people, you're just like me, man. I've done tons of Marvel fill-ins and things like that and work for Marvel, but I don't have a lot of cash. I'm not a big name. When you hear people say something like Jim Lee or Joe Mad or hell, Sean Gordon Murphy with his Batman book and stuff, these people are probably making big money. I've never been able to make that kind of money just because I'm not a contracted guy. I can ask for more if I was selling these huge books, but I just hadn't had that occasion. So, I'm just like you, man. If I buy something, there's plenty of artists I want their work from, and I can't afford them, and so I understand, and I'm lucky that there are people who do love the stuff that can afford it and do buy from us. That's where we're incredibly lucky. And when Mike welcomed me into his community, dude, I'm very lucky, very lucky. I know you guys that came along and you appreciate my stuff, and I appreciate you guys. I really do. Because there's days where I constantly, I'll do a good job for Marvel. I've got my editors, certain editors that work with me, and they like my stuff, but I never know when my next gig, where it's going to come from, and I haven't had anything from Marvel specifically from them since last year during the what is it, the Hero Project stuff that I did for them. That's on Disney Plus in case you get a chance to check it out. Issues or episodes 1 and 2, if you have Disney Plus, if you haven't, features my artwork in the show. About halfway through the show, if you're fast forwarding or DVRing or whatever you're doing at the streaming service, um, if you look through there, you'll see my artwork in the first episode and the second episode, with a kid named Adonis, and I'm trying to remember the young girl. The first episode is young girl, and for some reason I'm drawing a blank, and I apologize. But if you watch the Hero Project, you'll see some of my artwork in there. And those, that was the last project I worked on for Marvel right now. And I didn't know at the time I was going on Disney Plus. So that was freaky. All right. I'm going to take a look at the chat here. Everybody that's in there, we've got 11 people in. We have 14 likes. If you guys that are watching and you're out there and you're just kind of hovering and checking it out, please like and share. I need your help. Mac and Cheese is in here. That is the man. Yeah, there's so many things with you guys. I can't tell you enough that I may stumble and fall here and there sometimes doing the live stream and things like that. But I love having you guys around, and thank you for the kindness you've shown me, because I think it needs to be said sometimes, is the kindness you guys have shown me and by way of my family, because I can't pay my bills without you guys, and thank you. I can't pay my bills, without selling art. I don't want to put it all that on you, but you know what I mean. I hope you get what I'm saying. And it's one of those deals where I've been fortunate in the kindness of having people like Mike and everybody else has been on. Nasser's been really cool. Antonio Bryce, all my friends that are on the streams, people behind the scenes that are my friends. People that are nice to me, Kanan, Rob Willis, anybody who has kind of accepted me and been cool and been in our community of artists that are just like, hey, I dig your stuff, man. And it's those people have been helpful. The Headwind, there's Siege. I could go down the list. I don't want to leave anybody out, but if I leave you out, it's only because I'm having the brain fart and trying to draw. And if you hear me, if I stop drawing, it's because I'm looking at the reference I have. Oh yeah, and jalapeno milk. Let me throw it in there, buddy. Roscoe Davis. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean it like that. we're the dirty nuts in here to pick out the spill. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I say things that come out wrong. Quick plug, back is it FPS agent on Kickstarter. We're at 14%. We need around so and so to get 1,020. Yeah, that's a low funding goal. Yeah, everybody out there, give them a chance. Look at Kickstarter. Check it out for Draken's book. But Roscoe Davis, I'm glad to have you in, buddy. We got 19 likes. All right, rock on. Roscoe Davis, part of Kevin's Commandos. Yeah, you're part of Kevin's Commandos and Legion of Boom, as I like to call us. I like running with what we were being accused of being the Legion of Doom. But anyway, I'll run with it. I'll call it Legion of Boom. I'm making it mine. Of course, I can't use it, though, because Legion of Boom, unfortunately, they trademarked by Seattle Falcons. Or am I getting that right? I don't know. Seattle something or another. Seattle Seahawks. There we go. I'm sorry. It's Atlanta Falcons. I'm an idiot. Anyway, I was thinking about calling it Legion of Boom Comics and for my comics company, and I can't use it, so it sucked. Oh, we're up to 20 likes. All right, I'm checking out the chat right now. But yeah, Roscoe Davis, I'm glad to have you around, man. Thank you for coming along. But Siege, Nerd Wonder, let me think. I'm probably forgetting. Shoot. Doggone it. Who am I forgetting? There's tons. There's Mike, Matthew Weldon, Matt Cosson. Those are guys that are great. I love Matt Cosson and Matt Weldon. Weldon's stuff is amazing. fortunate to be around these people. They're good folks. They deserve your support. You know, we're a community. We've got great people, and they're trying really hard to do great comics and give us stuff. We're not perfect. I'm trying to learn this whole thing. I'm trying to learn this whole network and learn the whole sharing and trying to get you guys and do the legwork of getting you guys on board for the book. And regardless of what, you know, with this, with the Indiegogos and things like that, I'm trying hard not to say this to like plug anybody, but just as an example, I don't want to diss anybody or anything, but it's not a cash grab for me. It's not a, you know, it's not a quick buck. It's just I've never had an opportunity to really be given the reins of something where I really wanted to knock out the best art I can of my career. And this, I get a chance to. I get to draw something I love. The writing part's been scary because I have to do this I have to hit the ground running and figure out how to flesh these things out, figure out how to perform. There's themes in it that I'm trying to get across. I was a big fan of when my friends and I were doing the fantasy book, independent book called Book, way back in 1997. It's the one I was telling you about: Tim Townsend, Brandon Peterson, Mike Ringo, Jason Pearson. A whole bunch of people did work for. When they were just launching, that was one of the things we were just trying to make good fantasy, fun, incredible, exciting fantasy books, and we were inspired by so many things. And I'm inspired. I keep saying it because it's a big model for what I wanted to do. Was Pit, and then Battle Chasers. Battle Chasers was a fantasy book, and really the only thing that hurt that book and kept it from being bigger than what it is the fact that Joe just couldn't keep a schedule, and he was doing other things, looking into other things, and he just lost focus. But you know, the popularity of Battle Chasers just shows and is evident by the Kickstarter he did for the game, and then he did the game, and the game was a huge hit. How his Darksiders was a huge hit. So, you know, even with Battle Chasers not being on the stands, he came back and just slammed it because it was a loved property. You know, people wanted to see more of it. And I think, you know, that's what I want to bring for you guys is something exciting like that, you know. You know, I used the phrase, we were talking, there was a little dust up on Twitter. I got a little heated, not because I was wanting to attack our creator or anything, but I got a little heated about what happened with Doug's book. And I got a little heated, and I told Doug, I said, if this creator leaves you in a lurch, I'll gladly do a comic cover for you, and it'll be stomp ass. And that's the the phrase I use. And that's really, when I get passionate about something, that's what I think of. You know, I get excited. I want it to stomp ass, you know. And it was funny that it came out of me. I kind of laugh looking back at it now. You're looking at the tweet and going, okay, you know, that's how I feel it. And I couldn't get it out. And that's perfectly explains how I feel about it. Is Migs in? All right, cool. Hey, Migs, what's going on, brother? I am doing a commission right now of Broly, Super Saiyan Broly for Jalapeno Milk. Oh, Dragon, sorry. My PC can't run it yet. What? Battle Chasers? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I got it on the. I've got it on the Wii. Yeah, I've got it on the Wii, and I've still got to play it. I got it, but I hadn't been able to find any extra time to jump in on the Wii and play it. Or not the Wii. What's the newest console? That's also so behind I am. Newest console's name. Well, the newest Nintendo console. All right, looking at Sonto Zombie Kebab, and his language gets more worse the excited he gets. Yes, I do. I do. That's where Mike's a good influence on me. He gets me to being on his show. I can't curse and really let things fly. So I'm a much nicer, very PC version of Kev. Mac and cheese. Dude, this is looking hot. Cool. Yeah, there you go. I may not make his eyebrows so huge. That's up to you. If you want me to leave it, that's cool. You just tell me, let me know. I don't want to. For me, I'm just playing with it because I'm looking at the art style and then I'm looking at it going, he's starting to look like Lou Ferrigno in the face a little bit. So I was just like, let me pull this back a little bit. And if you see me erasing, a lot of that's because of the structures there, and I'm just going to tighten it up. So I'm not erasing the whole thing. I'm just trying to look at tightening up the details and having less scribbly lines. So don't freak out. If I get quiet looking at the reference. So Migs, I am glad to see you. I'm glad you're in here, buddy. Thank you. Just give you guys a place to hang out and chat for a little bit. I'll try to reduce some of that Lou Ferrigno-esque facial features there. That's a strange detour. I go from drawing Broly to looking like Lou Ferrigno in the face, and I'm not even sure where the hell that came from. But as I was saying in the chat, I did earlier on when I started the stream. I've got some Mylars in, and we can get to mailing some more stuff out for you guys. I know there's a few people I'm a little behind on, and I thank you for dealing with me. Doing the streams and getting ready for the launch has got me a little behind. And I thank you for being patient with me. We are getting these things mailed out. Dragon says, it's funny seeing a much better artist than me having problems drawing something I find super easy to draw and is simple. Yeah. Yeah. We all, the artists, we're training ourselves with so much, when we work at this stuff, we're training ourselves to see shapes and things like that. And we're training ourselves to draw the same thing over and over again. But when we're thrown in the water, a lot of us, if you don't spend your time drawing Bugs Bunny, you don't know how to draw Bugs Bunny. I mean, you have an understanding of, you've seen Bugs Bunny a million times, You watch Bugs Bunny. If you haven't drawn him, then asking even some of the most detailed artists and some of the most rendered happy and, let's say somebody who does realistic stuff, they couldn't draw Bugs Bunny. I mean, I know from personal experience, I couldn't draw Bugs Bunny if you tell me to draw Bugs Bunny. I can get you somewhere close, but it won't be the character, and it's just because you don't draw them much, So it will surprise you. And, some certain things, some of the simplest things can be hard for an artist if they don't draw them much. Who knows? Maybe Alex Ross. I'm not speaking for Alex, but I'm just saying, if you ask Alex Ross to draw Pikachu, he may not be able to do it. So it'll surprise you. It'll surprise you that just because you're talented and do things well doesn't mean you do everything well. And that just happens. Let's see. Okay. And if you guys have any other ideas, I get to rambling on and I kind of lost a little steam on things to talk about. So I'm just sitting here drawing. When Mecha McCheese's artwork to be awesome. Or jalapeno milk. And we got 10 people in, 20 likes. We're still rolling. Let's see what time it is on the East Coast here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to draw for a little longer on stream. I'm going to get the rough ideas out here. And then I can throw in some tighter inks in here once I got the forms really knuckled down. Because when you're inking, the biggest thing that'll help you is getting your forms down. If you're going to go straight to inks, get your forms down that you know you're comfortable with and strong with. As tight as possible if you can. And then when you go into inks, all your hard work has been done, so all you have to do is noodle and some other things you can lay down to spot your blacks. But generally, figure out where your shadows are going. But generally, the hard work is done. You built the foundation of the house, and then you can kind of speed along and get everything aesthetically nice in the inks. You don't necessarily have to draw everything out in the pencils then, as long as you have the foundation down. I'm looking at my reference on an iPad. So sometimes it goes to sleep while I'm trying to look at the ref. Kevin, which do you enjoy drawing more between the big two? How do you mean mix? Maybe a little bit more clarification, just so I know exactly what you're talking about. I mean, are you saying which one do I enjoy drawing for more in the big two, like DC or Marvel, which one I enjoy more? If I had to be honest, and if that was the case, uh, I would say, oh, if I was a younger kid, I would say Marvel definitely. Um, and I still say maybe today, maybe Marvel, but I got to tell you, there's still some books that I would really wish it was DC. Um, I would love to get a crack at. Um, really enjoy Shazam, Captain Marvel. Really, really want to draw that character in some context. I really enjoy the Flash. Never had a chance to draw him. If I grew up, I mean, the real big deal for the Flash for me was when Mike Wieringo was on it because Mike was a regular. He lived, I think, for a short time in Richmond, Virginia. I think he lived in Lynchburg for a long while, Lynchburg, Virginia, and Mike was a regular to the Roanoke shows, and I loved seeing his stuff because I was there right when he started Flash, and he would be at the shows and these little small one day shows, And Mike would talk to me, and I wouldn't say, he didn't tutor me. I won't say I was that close, but it was more so than what you just see at a show. He took some interest in my stuff. He took some interest in trying to give me some pointers. He also just was an encouraging hand. It wasn't, super, like my best friend. I won't say anything like that, but I've seen him enough through the years. I really loved his stuff, and what he was doing on Flash made me so happy. Um, he just had an interesting style and an interesting layout style, and um, he was classic, but still brought something new to it. Um, so I really would love to do Flash. I really would love to draw that because the Wally West era with Wade writing it. And no, I can go into a whole other thing about Wade, but I won't. I won't do that. Um, trust me, I knew a different side to certain people because I was around them in like cross gen and things like that. I won't get into it, but for me as a collector, I was enjoying the Flash when Wade was writing it, and Mike just drawing it was just made my inner geek happy. And it was such a different take on the Flash, because if you look at his Flash, it's kind of beefy. He's a big, hard, uh, jutting chin, big superhero chin, and Mike could do that and pull that off. Whereas I don't think I could. I don't think my Flash would look right. My Flash would have to be thin and what's the word? Like like a runner, like a sprinter, whatever, Olympic runner. He's very thin, and Mike could do that, and it could pull it off. Marvel DC characters. Generally, I would say Marvel, but Flash, Captain Marvel, the Demon. Um, trying to think, and if I had the right, I never got to draw the right incarnation of Legion of Superheroes. I drew the Legion of Superheroes, but they didn't have Timberwolf and some of my other favorites like Block. Um, so if they had the right incarnation, I would love to draw Legion of Superheroes as well. That book could be fun, really, really fun. You had the right writer, and you could give me the characters I like. Yeah, I definitely see myself doing that. Marvel, I'm so disheartened by the way they've taken so many of my favorite characters. Um, I'm so disheartened because it's clear when the agenda is so clear, it's crystal clear, and they think that they're sneaking it by you, and they think that they're going to be influencing you by having it be subtle, and it's not subtle. None of it's subtle, and it's sad because there's a lot of characters I really still want to draw. I'm a big fan of Thundra from Marvel. I think she's an underused character. Um, You know, some of my favorite Marvel characters, I would love to draw. Yellow Jacket, that classic yellow costume, you know, the Hank Pym, that costume was so cool in such a cheesy way, but it was so cool. Um, Getting my hands on Wolverine, but it has to be something. If I was to do Wolverine, it has to be something different. I don't know if you remember, but I really lost right around around the 60s, 50s, 60s. There was something where they were just doing too much with Wolverine. A lot of um, things where his hair was cut and he was kind of had this biker look, and then there was stuff where it was a lot of espionage or a lot of that stuff doesn't isn't fun for me to draw. It'd have to be something kind of unique take with that. Obviously, you guys know I love Hulk, Wolverine. Um, what's another character? There's so many. I'm trying to think. I really dig Suicide Squad. I'm not Suicide Squad. Squadron Supreme. There we go. Squadron Supreme was a big deal for me. I was so jealous of Ed McGuinness because like the newest Avengers stuff had a little side subplot with the Squadron Supreme and Coulson, and I was so jealous he got to draw those because that incarnation was so much better than the series. I hated it. I'll tell you a little funny story. I won't try to name names, but the editor on the book, I sent her some samples, and she kind of, because I would just kill to do a fill in, just do a fill in with, and this was when the series that just ended that had Alex Ross on painted covers, and I was pretty much begging to do something on that book, and the characters are so cool. Um, and getting a shot, especially when they had Namor. So it was a big deal for me. I was like, I love Namor, and he's in Squadron Supreme. And I sent the editor something. She sent me this thing back saying, "Well, I'm glad that you're so passionate about Squadron Supreme, but your faces need work and your anatomy needs work." And I was like, "What? Say what?" And maybe I overemphasize things, but to say it needs work, I was just kind of like, okay, in what capacity? And it would kind of felt like a blow off criticism. And my faces, I don't get a lot of complaints about my faces. If you guys see something you don't like, let me know. But or take Wolverine in the future would be interesting. Or take Wolverine back to his military days. Um, Roscoe Davis. Well, good night, y'all. Calling in tonight without losing an hour. Oh, I get you because I guess the time jumps tomorrow. I guess. Okay. Keep calm and Kevin on. All right, Roscoe. Love you, brother, man. Thank you for being on here. That's awesome that you bothered to come in, dude. Flash Gordon is the best Flash. That was funny. But yeah, so I'd say Squadron Supreme, Hulk, Wolverine. In the right context, if the story's interesting and not political, then give me Cap. I would love to draw Cap. Um, uh, I thought Warbird, Captain Marvel was good when she was Warbird. But there's so much baggage with the character now because there's so much fighting over what she is, what the character is supposed to be between the fans and stuff that it just feels like um, that they've damaged the character too much. It needs a break, maybe, because I don't want to draw the current version, if you understand. Um, Spider Woman. Spider Woman's another one. Absolutely love the look of the character. If it could give me something, hell, maybe even a team book with Spider Woman, maybe a team book with Wolverine, with Spider Man, or Spider Woman, and Sundra, or something like that. That would be cool. Um, Anything classic X Men, if it's the John Byrne era X Men. And by the way, if you guys love John Byrne, if you happen and you have not heard about it, please go over to the Byrne victims or the John Byrne forums, or look on Facebook, and he has Elsewin. It's basically what happened is he has a proposal for some X-Men issues, sort of in the vein of X-Men: The Hidden Years, and he had some stories, and it was looking like Marvel might go ahead and publish them, and then they backed out. But John is still pounding away at pages for that, and if you guys get a chance to check them out, they're amazing. So that era of X-Men, I would really enjoy drawing. With some of my favorite X-Men that aren't really big deals right at the moment, but I love Sunfire. I thought Sunfire was a cool design. Being able to draw Colossus, I think, would be fun. Just a lot of cool stuff. So you listen to me ramble on about cool characters. All right, Draken says, which Spider-Woman? Migs, you would save She-Hulk at least. Yeah. A lot of people have been holding up Ed McGuinness's art from the newest issues as like, oh, look at the She-Hulk. And I'm like, I love Ed's stuff, and I really like the costume he gave for her. This really weird Kirby-esque costume he gave her. It's like a bikini, but it's like if Kirby drew a bikini, and I really like it. I think there's nothing wrong with the way Ed draws She-Hulk. I think the problem is the fact that she's a bodybuilder and that she's really kind of grotesque looking, in that she's like the Hulk with boobs. And I think that's the big problem. And that's nothing I don't think is Ed's fault at all. I don't think Ed designed her like that, and they just, she's got to be, bodybuilder now. I think that was something from on high, and not something he would do with her. I don't think. Draken says, I think about Misfit and Black Alice would be a fun book to do. I don't know those characters. I'll have to look them up. I'll tell you what, I'll look them up after the stream and go from there. Oh, wow. I've been going for almost 3 hours in the stream. Hey, guys, thank you for hanging in there. Give you something to do, Oh, yeah, the time change. That's right. Well, I'll tell you what, jalapeno milk, buddy. I forgot about the time change too, but if you guys want to stay in there, let me know if you're going to hang in there. We were talking about DragonGuard. We've been doing it. Flybox Pro, you must be entertaining, kid. Well, I got a few stories here and there. I don't know exactly how entertaining I am. I probably managed to piss off a few people just telling stories, but we'll see. I tell you what, jalapeno milk, let me know about, would you like his eyes to stay white? Like super, just blowing it out. You want me to keep them white, or should I put pupils in there? So let me know. Yeah, man, because I like drawing She-Hulk too. I actually like the costume that Ed gave her. I thought it was really fun, and it kind of hit me from out of nowhere, and I was like, wow, I'm not a huge Kirby fan. That's not with the stuff. I didn't grow up on Kirby stuff, but looking at it and seeing how retro Kirby-esque it is, it actually looks really cool. It's just the fact that she's, the Hulk with boobs right now, and I liken it as a difference between a fitness model. If you look at a fitness model, which really a fitness model is basically your women bodybuilders from the 80s, which wasn't so roided out. Nowadays the girls are gigantic. So the women bodybuilders, that's what she's like. Misfit has basically Nightcrawler's powers. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Okay, yeah, some of the stuff sounds pretty good. Tommy Kebab, let me go download you. What the hell's going on? All right. Oh, Flybox Pro. I'll pass. What is the UG about? I guess about She-Hulk. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, to each his own. I'm just saying that you know I'm not a huge fan of that either. The character wasn't supposed to be like that. John, I don't think John Buscema imagined it like that. I guess was it John Buscema originally designed her? I know that John Byrne had did the series and also did that graphic novel with her, and also he handled her and had her as part of the Fantastic Four for a short while. But I don't think that's the intent behind She-Hulk. And yeah, she's like She-Hulk, but they've kind of I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to do. And I think part of this all came from it's just a hunch, but I think it all came from that stupid thing that what's his name, David Goyer said about the Hulk, and that you know he basically said that She-Hulk was a ridiculous character that pervs wanted you know the character was only around for the Hulk to have sex with. Something stupid, completely ignorant. I mean, when I say ignorant, I mean like dumb and ignorant, like not knowing a single friggin' thing about the character. It sounded like from Royer, and it came. I think that in some ways it came from that. I think they're just taking some of that and you know running with it in a bizarre way. I guess kind of to make a point about female empowerment or something. Very weird. Nick says, "Yeah, Flybox Pro, aren't they cousins?" Yes, exactly, exactly. They're cousins. And even Stan Lee had to point that out. Stan Lee even wrote a letter or something about that, saying how insulting it was because the characters were supposed to be cousins and this and that. And Stan Lee went off on it. And if you can get got Stan Lee, God rest his soul, to go off on something like that, then he was bothered by it. Mick says, I don't mind muscles on a lady, but when they go overboard like looking like a man, that's a hard no for me. Yeah, yeah, brother. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with that. A lot of my style comes from me and my cousin sitting around, and we were fans of the movie Pumping Iron because my cousin was a huge Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone fan. So he eats, sleeps, and breathes training, and even as a young guy, in his teens, and that's when we, were checking out Pumping Iron, and we were fans of Arnold. And Arnold, it's a documentary that featured Arnold, so we would sit around and draw a lot of these bodybuilders and stuff, and there's a point where we enjoyed it, but this stuff is taking it too far, and that's where I am with it. So I totally feel you. All right, Eric Hawkins, who are you drawing, Kev? I am drawing Rolly in Super Saiyan mode. So that was a commission for Mr. Jalapeno Milk. And Eric Hawkins, since you're here, I'll throw this in here. You can take a look. There's a little bit of close up of Dragon Guard that I can fit up next to my camera so I can get a good pic. And there you go. Flybox Pro. So if I start working out, do you think I'll be as ripped as a Dragon Guard, dude? I don't know. I know I go overboard. That's what comics are about, man. there's a funny story. I hope I'm telling the story exactly right. I know I read it in what was it, comics? Maybe it was a comics. God, it was a magazine, interview magazine. But there was a story about Adam Hughes, and apparently this woman got mad because of the way Adam Hughes was. Maybe somebody was an editor at DC, or somebody was assistant editor, or maybe it was just somebody who was there at the office. And Adam Hughes, Adam Hughes draws pretty amazing women, and that's just his thing. And this woman gets mad at Adam and goes, no women look like that. And apparently Adam's response was, well, I don't look like Superman, but you don't see me bitching about it. And that's the truth, man. We draw these, from the dawn of time, whether it's Michelangelo, whoever, we draw, idealized figures. They're taking to a more exaggerated or more perfect version than what we are, and we always try to imagine the form as prettier or more the more perfect representation of what a human is. And so we exaggerate these things, and it's whether it's a woman or a guy, it's on both sides. Thank you, Zabi Kebab. If you have joined the mailing list, spread the word. Yeah, please do. Yeah, I mean, Captain Hiltz, I see you in there sharing the link, and thank you. I don't want you to waste your time. So everybody that's in here, if you get a chance to check out DragonGuard, look there. The links is in the chat as well as in the description. It's the mailing list, and if you guys want to get out there and join, you'll get a 10% discount on your order, your comic, and we'll launch next weekend. And I need you. I need your help. I need you to help me make this a success. I don't want to believe that there's only one way to make this thing a success. It doesn't have to be related around drama. It doesn't have to be related around sensationalism. I hope that we can just get in there, and that if you like something that looks good, I know people did it with Starblades. Starblades is a great book. Kyle was not a huge presence on social media and things like that, and Kyle made Starblades a success by the sheer fact that it looks badass. And I I ordered Starblades, and I'm used to using Starblades as a success. Kyle doesn't endorse my book or anything like that, but I have to believe that we're going to bust this out and make this the most kick-ass book I can. And I need you guys out there listening. Check it out. Give it a chance. We have all kinds of characters in this book. It isn't just a barbarian dude. It's all kinds of things. We have snake men. We have snake people. I don't know if that's true trademark by Mattel, so I'll leave that alone. But we have snake people. We have cat people. We have all kinds of different warriors. A genie. Falcon men and things like that. I mean, there's so many archetypes that I want to play around with in the book, and there should be something for everybody in this book, and you can't please, that old saying, you can't please everybody all the time, but I hope I can please most of you guys with a great looking book, and that's what I want to do here. So I need you guys. Where's the cat girls? Oh yeah, we'll definitely get to a cat girl too. I'll show you. I'll tell you what. Before I close out, I'll probably drop it because I forgot. Everybody told me that there's going to be the time change. So before I close out, I'll let you look at what I was inking on earlier. Since y'all are all here, this is a page from DragonGuard, and here's the main female character. Right now, her name is Zalara. I may change it, but we'll see. I want to finalize it. finalize some of these things. But here you go. There's a good close-up look at the inking of the face. Hopefully it should be clear. Flybox Pro. I feel oppressed because of Broly's biceps. Why can't there be a character that I can identify with? Oh, there will. There'll be royal guards and things like that. And they'll be a little bit more normal size. I feel bad because there's probably not going to be a lot of guys with huge guts. Well, I can't say that. The main character's dad is a blacksmith or a weaponsmith, blacksmith, and he's got a gut, so I could say that. He's got like a beer gut. He's had a few pitchers of ale in his lifetime. You'll see him. Migs, confirmed, $signs. Panels out of context. I love how your main guy is looking at the girl like he is about to say something awkward. Well, thank you. Thank you, Zombie. Yeah, it's a conversation. I can't say what the conversation is about, so I'll leave it alone. But here's that shot again, just for reference. Here's some of the inks. Okay. Got 12 people watching, 20 likes. Dragon. Oh, Lord. Excuse me. Okay. So I'll tell you what, I'll give you guys the 10-minute warning. Since it's getting a little late, and I didn't realize that we're going to be setting the clocks forward, losing an hour, I guess, right? So, what I'll do before I call it an end for the night, I'll give you a 10-minute warning, and my buddy here, Jalapeno Milk, I hope to look at it. I'm gonna clap down some inks. 9 by 12. Super Saiyan Broly, or Saiyan, depending on how you want to say it. And just in case, and don't worry, you're not going to hurt my feelings one way or the other. But for everybody who did not know, I had this up here. $70 plus shipping if you want it. You can say Calvin and Hobbes confirmed. But I just showed this earlier. I showed it earlier in the stream. That's there in case you didn't know. And then I believe the only other thing I had up earlier was Sonic, the drawn and quartered, 11 by 17. And that also was 70. So just let me know if you happen to say Sonic confirmed or whatever, anybody wants it. Otherwise, Saiyajin. Yeah, okay, cool. I'll get it right one of these days. But anyway, so I'm sitting here. I'm going to work on this just a little bit longer, and then we're going to call it a night, you guys. I thank you for being along for the ride. The plan is to get in maybe a couple more streams before I launch. At least one more, but trying for a couple more, maybe even one tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll have time for that. Sunday's usually when we do our grocery shopping and things like that. So Um, Dragon says that most people say Cyan. Mark Anthony says Soniku. Yeah, you're definitely out of my wheelhouse there. The only Japanese I might know, if I'm saying it right, is Biru Kudasai. And I'm not even sure I'm pronouncing that completely right. I learned that from a Japanese place. So. And we have 11 people now. People are ducking out because I said I was going to close up shop. And I want to give a quick thank you to my fiance for letting me come out here and speak to you about Dragon Guard, talk about Dragon Guard, give you a few more details about the book, let me come out here and play. I was feeling miserable earlier, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do a stream tonight, but you know, that's the thing. My a little behind the scenes information. My medicine tends to act up sometimes and not others, and I don't know why. Sometimes it can be just the medicine interacting with what I eat or what I did. You know, a lot of times this medicine asks you to eat, um, to take the medicine with a meal, and sometimes maybe I just don't eat the right proportion of meals that I need to counteract the effects of the medicine. But it tends to hit me, and sometimes I have I've gotten a lot better about it, but I used to for about a year last year, most of last year mainly. I was fighting with vertigo, and if anybody knows what vertigo is, it's hard to explain to people. But imagine just being dizzy for no reason, just sneaking up on you and being dizzy for no reason, to where your balance is completely off and you can't stand up, and it makes you queasy. Um, I've I fought with that for a good long year. Finally, I get one of my doctors, um, a clinic I was at. The doctors were rotating in and out. I went through two doctors before I got to this newest doctor, and she figured out that hey, it was happening to one ear. It was ear, you know, whatever was going on with the ear and what was going on with that ear was causing me to have this vertigo, and it was exacerbated by the medicine. Um, but I was given a exercises or a regimen of certain things to counteract the vertigo, and I've almost got it contained. But every now and then, you know, whatever's going on with my medicine, it will sometimes sneak up on me. So if you don't know what vertigo is, it's very hard to explain to people just how bad it messes with you. And you can turn your head you can turn your head a certain way if you look down or look up, and you'll just experience out of the blue. You'll lose balance. Um, you'll feel, you know, even so far as to feel sick. You know, like you're nauseous from like how you are if you read in the car. Going down the road and you're sitting in the back seat and you're reading something, and you get motion sickness. It's sort of like that, and it can sneak up on you. So I had that, and I've got it under control, and it's becoming less of an issue as I go. But for the longest time, it was a huge issue. And sometimes this medicine will either mess with my stomach or it'll mess with the vertigo and exacerbate it. So that's what I was having problem with. So I almost didn't do the stream tonight. Um, and I thank you guys for coming along with me. All the people that are loyal and mods and Captain Hilch, you're amazing, brother. Really appreciate you. Um, Jalapeno milk and mac and cheese, and then of course the friends and that come into the stream and hang out and chat. Everybody is there. Comic Bob, I know there's Draken. I'm glad to have you along. I'm glad to have everybody that's popped in tonight. I know Snow Frost Witch, sometimes they come in. I appreciate you guys being along for the ride, okay? And Mark Anthony and Miggs, shout out to you guys. Can't do it without you. And, you know, with DragonGuard, this is kind of my last shot. It's kind of, you know, I said it earlier that there was some emails with some people that were close to some of the properties I love. And they've kind of, I don't want to say too much, but this is my last shot at any kind of He-Man type or superhero, you know, the fantasy genre, that type of thing. This is my last shot at it, and I wanted to give it the best shot I can. Without you guys, I wouldn't have a chance, you know. So anyway, I'm going to call this a night. Burn this channel to the ground now. Yes. And Mark Anthony, I'm glad the doc figured it out. Yeah, for the longest time, it was so frustrating, dude. I'll quick aside, I can tell you, I was at my wit's end because none of the other doctors would ask why it was happening. They just assumed it. I don't know if they just assumed it wasn't a big deal or if they assumed it was something with my blood sugar. And but yeah, brother, this one doctor I had now, she actually cared enough to sit down and go, well, why is this happening? And I told her, I said, you know, you're the only one that's asked that question. And we went through some things, and basically it could have been two things: neurological, or it's just an inner ear problem. And we found out, me turning my head to one side, there's basically like these crystals in your ear, or they get unbalanced or out of whack, and that can mess with your balance. And we had tried some exercises, and that started to, you know, improve or started to narrow down why I was having the problem. She was worried it was neurological, but we managed to eliminate that as being the problem, being neurological. Once we figured out it was the one ear, much better shape now. So thank you for asking and talking about that. But yeah, I went through a whole year and almost a year and a couple of months, constantly having occasions where my balance was off just by moving my head or bending over, picking up stuff, looking up. And, you know, it was frustrating for me. It was frustrating for my fiance, because it almost seems like, hey, you're making this stuff up. And I'm like, no, I'm not, you know, I'm not making it up, you know. It's because it's hard for people to understand what it's like. If you don't have it, you don't understand what it's like, you know. Captain Hill says, DragonGuard will rock it, Kev. Top tier work, man. Thank you. And I hope that's what you get out of it. When you see all these great guys, Rob Willis, I'm going to give him another shout out. When you see these young talents like that, man, they give me hope for what can be done and where comics can go and the quality level. And that's what I want to be, you know, the quality level, you know. Mark Anthony said, well, new reference. Dragon. So you're literally undergoing crystal healing. Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Yeah, this is my last shot at. I think this I don't see a lot of good things coming. I think as long as certain people are in places of power, the reason I'm vague like that is because I don't want to call out people. I have emails. I have screenshots. I don't want to call out people. I don't want to get into that kind of thing. But there's people that are it's not even the right word, but I'll just use it because it's the closest I can think of. But there's certain people gatekeeping some of that stuff over on one side with those things with like Mattel, things like that. That if they're there, I'm never going to have a fair shot at the books. And yeah. So I'm trying to be nice about it, you know. And those characters mean a lot to me. So these characters have to be badass. These characters have to be drawn well. And I have to make this the best stuff I can, you know. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and bitch. You guys need to get sleep. If you're on the West Coast, maybe not so much. Maybe I haven't taken too much of your time, but for me, I'm on the East Coast, so it's getting really late. Appreciate you guys on the stream. Look forward to more Dragon Guard. We're gonna keep doing it. The whole thing is getting all my ducks in a row. Doing that this week. Look for Dragon Guard. This is gonna be badass. I want to bring you quality looking stuff where you're going, holy shit. You guys rock. From everybody, from Migs, Draken, Mark Anthony, Captain Hilt, you guys are the greatest. You'll see me probably on Drawn and Quarter. Maybe pop in on Mike's streams again. I love Mike. Love talking to him. So all my buddies out there, you have a good night. And I wish y'all wish y'all the best. And I'm gonna get on out. Peace out, guys. You have a great evening. Humphrey Bear, you too, buddy. Captain Hill says, get with Mike and try to do a launch. Yeah, that's probably in the cards too. It just depends on whether or not his what he's got planned with his family. I don't want to intrude on his family time. So anyway, peace. You guys are great. I'm here for you. I want to do great stuff for you. I'll see you soon, okay?